Newsroom for News 6 at 3 o'clock. It is your only live newscast at this hour, bringing you the latest big stories of the day. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ginger Gatson. This is Lisa Bell. We have a lot to talk about today, including something we do not want to even begin to think about. But in a mere 50 days is June 1st, the beginning of hurricane season.
Yeah, and today, researchers from Colorado State University put out their forecast for the upcoming hurricane season. We want to bring in meteorologist Jonathan Kagas now. Jonathan, obviously you've reviewed their forecast very closely, but
Yes.
you were surprised a little bit by this.
Their forecast, it's below normal. So that's what we were actually expecting. That we were expecting things to be below normal this year. El Nino is the big deal that's going to hopefully keep things below normal. Now, once we talk about El Nino and again the below normal temperatures, I'm going to always preface this with it only takes one.
Correct.
So, I mean, it could be a bad year if one storm forms and it hits you. Now, there's their forecast, 13 named storms, 6 of those becoming hurricanes, 2 becoming major. Now, you see nearly 50% of those are expected to become hurricanes. And one of the things we've watched over the last couple of years is the quantity versus quality thing. Last year, we had all of those Cat 5 storms, even though it was technically a below normal season. You compare that to 2025, it's pretty much on par with what we saw last year. So if everything stays out to sea, we would love that. Now, one thing that Colorado State does that NOAA does not do is kind of give probabilities for storms getting close to land. So they've given, for the state of Florida, a 74% chance. Now, we always have a climatologically speaking higher chance than everybody else because we kind of stick out.
We're just sticking right out there.
That's part of it. So the 74% chance for a storm to get within 50 miles. Climatologically speaking, it's 86. So that's what you want to focus on. Is it above that or below that? So we're a little bit below that, but obviously don't like the percentage being that high. And then about a 46% chance for a hurricane. Again, that's still below normal, but you always go back to that preface. 1992 was a strong El Nino year, which we are looking at. Hurricane Andrew made landfall in 1992. So you can never write that off.
And that was in September, and that's an A storm.
Exactly.
That's why you're saying it only takes one.
It only takes one. Yeah, that was it. There were hardly any storms that year, but Andrew is the one that's going to be remembered. So we're going to talk much more about that throughout the course of today. But for more on today's weather, it is still gloomy, guys. We're going to send things to meteorologist Julie Broughton.
Jonathan, we are still talking about really churned up conditions out there in Daytona Beach. This is our live sky cam. You can see that rain coming in, gray skies, and it is still windy. Winds are sustained from the northeast at 26 miles per hour. Right now sitting at 73 degrees, but I want you to look at the winds. In Mico, you're seeing 33 mile per hour gusts. Orlando, 30 mile per hour gusts. And look over in Leesburg and Claremont, you are seeing winds gusting to 41 miles per hour. So it's going to take a minute for these winds to relax for us. Now, so far this week, some spots have picked up more than 6 inches of rain, primarily along the coast. Here's what's happening right now for us. We're continuing to see some of that heavy rain rotating on shore as we go in a little bit closer in areas like Brevard County, down towards Satellite Beach, Melbourne, Palm Bay, Malabar. Seeing some of that heavy rain that is continuing to push inland as well. Kenansville, you are getting some of that. That is moving on over toward the Turnpike as well. So our rain chances for today are hovering right around 60%. You can see some light rain through Marion County down into Sumter as well as Lake counties and down toward the attractions. Now things really start to dry out quickly for us as we head through the day tomorrow, and we'll see temperatures rebounding nicely. We will break all of that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Finally, we are ready for a break from that rain, even though we need it, Julie. All right, thank you. Well, now to a big story that's impacting the wallets of thousands of people across the country. The United States Postal Service has announced that it is temporarily suspending contributions to pension plans. In a statement to CBS News, the Postal Service says it's, quote, heading toward a cash crisis, and they're taking the action to cover operations and other necessary payments. The USPS says every other week they pay about $200 million into the federal employees' retirement system, and suspending the payments will free up about $2.5 billion this fiscal year. The suspension of these payments takes effect tomorrow.
Oh, that is a big deal. All right, now we have an update today on a shooting of a Volusia Sheriff's deputy from last month in an effort to keep part of that trial behind closed doors. When we tell you the details of this, you'll certainly remember this story from last month. Deputies were called to a home for vandalism. When they opened the door, though, they were met by gunfire. And here's the part you're going to remember. The bullet hit a deputy's body cam, and that's the thing that likely saved that deputy's life. Attorneys for the suspect suspect, though, are trying to block the public release of recordings, including what is being described as a confession. News 6 filed a motion in this case asking the court to ensure that part of the confession that would normally be available for the public remain that way. So you have a full picture of the case and what happened. The attorneys came to an agreement today. Parts of about 14 of the 53-page transcript, I should say, from Luis Diaz Polanco's confession, that will be sealed. The rest can be released for now. The sheriff already said Polanco admitted that he intentionally aimed at the deputy's chest, thinking their ballistic vest would save them.
He sits there and tells us what a horrible day he had, and that if he had not run out of ammunition, he would have killed every one of those deputies.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Polanco pled not guilty to the attempted murder charges. The deputy he's accused of shooting is still physically recovering, but is back at work. Polanco's case is set to begin sometime in June. All right, now to the international stage and the war with Iran. A disagreement over Israeli attacks in Lebanon is putting the fragile ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran in jeopardy.
Yeah, CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand is joining us now live from Washington, D.C. Natalie, what is the latest on this ceasefire?
Lisa, Ginger, good to be with you. Well, new this afternoon, we've learned that Israel has said that it will begin direct negotiations with Lebanon. This comes amid this dispute over whether Lebanon was part of the ceasefire deal. The Trump administration and Israel saying that it wasn't. So the strikes there, continued overnight over the past 24 hours. But Iran and Pakistan, which was serving as the mediator, said Lebanon was in fact part of it. So now we've learned of these new negotiations as the Trump administration gears up for the critical negotiations between the U.S. and Iran set for this weekend in Pakistan. And Trump administration officials really trying to downplay concerns that the ceasefire will not hold, essentially saying, these things are always messy and expect some choppiness. But, we know ahead of these talks that there's just a lot of anticipation and a lot of questions that remain, especially as Iran has remained its grip on the critical Strait of Hormuz, which was also a key part of the ceasefire.
Yeah, and speaking of those talks, talks for a more negotiated deal are still set for this weekend in Pakistan with Vice President J.D. Vance and senior envoys there. What's the White House and the Vice President, what are they saying about these talks?
Yeah, we learned that the vice president will be leading this next phase of negotiations along with the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And Vice President Vance, speaking to reporters yesterday on his way back to the United States from Hungary and a trip there, he did express optimism, but also warned that Iran better essentially take the next steps here, the right next steps, or else the president retains a lot of options to return to the war. We know that a critical part of these talks will be the issue of uranium enrichment. As a key red line for President Trump, he's maintained that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. So that is going to be a very critical part of this next phase of the negotiations. And President Trump has also warned that U.S. military personnel, aircraft, and ships, of course, will remain in the region until an agreement is reached. Lisa, right. Ginger.
Yeah, and we know you are following every single move minute by minute from Washington, D.C. for us. Natalie Brand, thank you. Well, these days you have to question pretty much everything you see, and that applies to law enforcement as well. Take a look at this crazy video. A TikToker posted this video going up to a Seminole County deputy in Lake Mary. So in it, he showed the deputy a video appearing to show two people entering his patrol vehicle. Look at this. The whole thing is completely fake. No one went up to the deputy's car. And investigators learned that the video was made with AI. So the TikToker, Alexis Martinez Arizala, was arrested in Puerto Rico and is now facing felony tampering with evidence charges among other crimes. On Monday, the Orange County Sheriff's Office posted on social media that they are aware of deepfake AI videos showing crimes that never happened, and they are making the rounds on social media. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver is digging into this for us. She's going to have another update for us coming up at 5. This is
Terrifying.
so awful. Yeah, because wasting resources, so many things. But it's like all these people, they're doing this just to get clicks and to make money.
But
and
also, we are constantly bombarded with videos into our newsroom saying,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I
check
witnessed.
this out.
Yeah,
Or is this true? Did this really happen?
And so
Yeah.
that takes extra time for us to verify that
Right.
what we're seeing actually happened too.
Yeah, and just constantly fact checking and
It
trying
never
to
ends. It never
reassure
ends.
people
And
that
it's-
nope, that's fake. That's
It is
fake.
not
Yeah.
cute. It is not cute. Well, and that's not the only AI-generated enforcement story that we're following today, if you can believe that. State Attorney General James Meyer announced today that his office is launching an investigation into OpenAI and ChatGPT. The state wants more info on, quote, their activities that hurt kids, endangered Americans, and facilitated the recent FSU mass shootings. Now, we told you Monday, attorneys representing the family of the victims in that shooting on that campus, they are suing ChatGPT, saying the accused shooter had, quote, constant communication with ChatGPT before the shooting, and that they have reason to believe the AI chatbot may have given the shooter advice on how to actually carry out that attack. The shooter's trial is expected to begin October 19th. The state is seeking the death penalty in this case, so high stakes on that one as well. Still to come, a busy stretch of Central Florida may become a bit easier to manage. We'll show you the work that is currently on the way.
Wouldn't that be nice? Also, a lot of people are talking about this. Some crazy video that landed a school district employee in trouble with the law. We'll have that story for you coming up. All right. Well, if you have the pleasure of driving the 408 every morning, you know one of the main choke points every morning is between Goldenrod and I-4, that busy stretch.
But good news. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez says that there is a plan to add an extra lane in each direction.
Drivers know what it feels like to get stuck on the 408.
Horrible, horrible.
It's just been getting worse. Every year it just get worse. More people live here, more traffic.
To improve people's daily commute on the 408, the Central Florida Expressway Authority is working on a plan to add an extra lane to two portions of the 408 heading toward downtown Orlando. This design map shows where, between Goldenrod Road and Cimarron Boulevard, and then from Bumby Avenue to I-4. It would take two sections of the 408 from 4 to 5 lanes to improve traffic and reduce crashes. The study done on the potential improvements for the 408 found that rear-end collisions make up 53% of all the crashes here, showing just how much congestion has increased as cars have to abruptly stop or slow down with limited space. How crucial would you think another lane would be here?
Very crucial because we're very close to downtown Orlando, and that's where a lot of people are working at because you got headquarters for Truist is down there, the stadium is down there, and a lot of the nightlife is down there.
It might help make less traffic, probably help people get where they need to going quicker too. I mean, I think they need it.
CFX tells me design work should be done by early 2027, and they'll hold a public meeting on the project sometime this year. It's just one stretch of the 408 getting more lanes. Between OBT and I-4, right near Camping World Stadium, a fifth eastbound lane is set to be added by 2029, a $218 million addition. Last summer, tolls went up between 2 and 5 cents, a move CFX says helps them maintain, build, and operate its 125-mile system. Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Always something happening with our roads, especially our toll roads.
Yep.
By the way, the board will also be awarded a $137 million contract to connect US 27 in Lake County to the 429 in Orange County. I know a lot of people have been waiting on that, with that work set to be finished by 2029.
Got to wait a little bit longer. Well, hundreds of you are still commenting and talking about a story we brought to you about a week ago. And we understand why you're talking about it.
And also because we got some new video that shows what we're talking about. Take a look at this. We showed you this video yesterday that a bystander posted on TikTok. So this video was taken across the street from where a school bus with kids on board was clipped by a train in Sumter County. Take a look at this. You can see the train swipe the back of the bus. And you can really see how the bus was in this train's path and moved forward just moments before the crash. The driver, 67-year-old Yvonne Hampton, faced a judge on Tuesday on more than 24 felony child neglect charges related to this incident. She posted bond yesterday evening. The district says because of this incident, they are now removing that specific intersection from bus routes.
Yeah, and because of your reaction, more than 500 of you have commented on that new video since we posted it on Facebook just yesterday. Here's a little bit of what you're saying. Trina says, pretty sure the preference is to be late and wait for the train versus try to beat it. Beverly said, I mean, at that rate, I'd have to bump the car in front of me a little. Car or train? Car. And Vance said 100% of trains hitting cars happen on tracks. Just don't park on them. Okay. Philip says, I think they should put signs on roads before railroad. It says no bus allowed, across allowed, more safety than being risk. And Nicole says, I feel for the train conductor. I know his heart was racing as he got closer to that bus and not being able to stop. And that's the truth about
terrifying
it all.
For everyone involved.
Yeah. But thank goodness that it wasn't much worse because we'd be talking about a different story.
Yeah.
We're talking about inches or feet.
Yeah, and really we haven't heard of any injuries from that incident,
No.
so that is the good news.
No.
Well, we are circling back now to the top of the hour and one of our top stories today. We're talking about that hurricane forecast that was released by Colorado State University researchers. We want to know what you think, so scan that QR code you see on your screen. It'll send you to clickorlando.com/react, where you can weigh in. We want to know, how do you typically prepare for hurricane season? Right now, most people say they stock up on supplies. Others say they make an emergency plan. They secure their home. I don't really prepare. I mean, I feel like we all secure our house and stock up supplies if we know a storm is likely headed our way. Usually we wait till, by we, I mean most people in Florida, till it's like a few days out. And that's when you really see the long gas lines, the
that's
empty
legit.
store shelves.
Correct.
Yeah.
But we here at News 6, we prepare by packing a go bag and keeping it here because we never know, because we probably won't be able to go home. We can't.
No.
We'll spend the night here and to keep you informed.
That's right.
That's how important it is.
All right, still to come, oil prices remain uncertain as the fragile ceasefire in Iran is underway.
Yeah, how long any changes could take to help you at that painful gas pump.
I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. We know gas prices holding steady for now, and oil prices, however, increasing slightly. Let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. So, Maribel, this all has to do, of course, with the war in Iran.
Yes, Lauren, this is what we know. Oil prices edging back toward $100 a barrel this morning after a ceasefire-driven drop on Wednesday. So global and U.S. crude are both hovering around $98. Prices initially fell between 13% and 16% on the news the U.S. and Iran would stop hostilities, but continued Israeli strikes in Lebanon and Iranian threats to restrict oil tanker traffic pushed those prices back up. Both global and domestic prices remain well above the $70 a barrel pre-war average, Lauren.
All right, so now with us talking about the oil, how does this affect gas prices?
Okay, so at the pump, the national average remained mostly steady overnight, Lauren. That's according to AAA. A gallon of unleaded is $4.17 this morning, up a penny over yesterday. Analysts at Gas Buddy tell CNN it could be months before prices dip below $3 a gallon again. Hundreds of oil vessels, remember, remain stalled in the Persian Gulf. So even if shipping returns to normal, experts say it could take weeks to deliver and refine the backlog. So for now, there are conflicting reports on just how much oil is leaving the Gulf. A U.S. delegation will travel to Pakistan for brokered talks with Iran this weekend. So
and that's the key, to just let us know that we're settling into this unfortunate pattern here. All right, Maribel, thank you. Yeah. Remember to get the latest money and consumer news anytime. You can head on over to clickorlando.com.
All right, so now to a recall that could impact your morning routine.
Yeah, we're going to have...
medical researchers say sick moms are not taking care of themselves after a recent guidance by the White House.
Yeah, we're going to have that for you coming up. Also ahead at 4, something that was meant to connect people with affordable, healthy food is quickly becoming more expensive. We'll have that as well after the break.
Coming up on Friday, heading home, the crew of Artemis 2 is making their way back to Earth.
We'll have the very latest on the historic mission, as well as the one key thing NASA is watching as the crew prepares for splashdown.
Plus, away with this rain, our team is timing out the return of the sun and a weekend warming trend.
We'll see you Friday for News 6 Morning, starting at 6.
Welcome back to News 6 at 3 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. Fewer pregnant women are in the ER for an illness or taking Tylenol. That's according to a recent study and comes 7 months after the president said the medication increases the risk of autism in babies.
Yeah, now most experts will say that there's no connection, and major medical organizations continue to advertise acetaminophen, that's the generic name for Tylenol, as the only safe over-the-counter medication and fever reliever during pregnancy. CNN correspondent Maribel Gonzalez has the latest.
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism.
Late last year, President Donald Trump linked autism to acetaminophen use during pregnancy.
I would say on the Tylenol, don't take it.
This despite decades of evidence from major medical associations, including the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, saying acetaminophen is the only safe over-the-counter option for treating pain or fever for pregnant people.
Things like ibuprofen or Aleve, that is not recommended in pregnancy because of bleeding risks and other possible complications.
In the months after the White House announcement, acetaminophen orders for pregnant patients in U.S. emergency rooms were down 10%. According to a March 2026 study published in The Lancet.
If I want to help a patient who is pregnant and they have fever or pain, I'll tell you, I'm reaching for acetaminophen first because it's the safest of the options.
The study was led by Dr. Jeremy Faust, an emergency physician at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
People who are experiencing pain or a fever deserve safe treatment.
The doctor says not reducing a pregnant person's fever could lead to other issues.
The message that was proffered was, well, don't take it just to be safe, on the safe side, and actually that doesn't really work here. And the reason is that untreated fever itself could be a problem for the fetus.
All right, that was Maribel Gonzalez reporting for us. And it is concerning if people aren't doing the treatment that they may need to protect themselves and their unborn baby.
Yeah, and that is concerning. And we knew once the Trump administration had said that, this harms pregnant women, that there would be a problem down the road. Well, after the longest journey in human history, 4 brave explorers are almost, and I stress almost home. All right, so let's take you live to give you a live look at NASA and the update of the Artemis 2 crew and their mission and their return. So we're listening in now on what they're saying for any important updates, and we'll bring you those later this afternoon if they say anything that's important to note. If you'd like to watch the entire news conference, we're streaming it live right now on clickorlando.com. The astronauts are scheduled to splash down at the coast of San Diego just after 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Preparations are already underway, getting ready, getting the USS John S. Murtha ready to recover the astronauts. It departed a San Diego Naval Base and headed out to sea with a couple hundred sailors and more than 100 NASA employees on board. This is a really important job. They'll recover those 4 astronauts inside the Orion space capsule from the Pacific Ocean after splashdown. And dive teams will actually be the ones to help them open the capsule and help the crew on a floating raft. From there, a helicopter will take them to the ship for medical treatment. Weather balloons have been deployed as well from the ship to track conditions ahead of that water landing.
We have very robust simulators in San Diego to simulate the capsule launch or capsule recovery, those conditions, different sea states, different weather conditions, really just to make sure we're prepared.
All right, so the capsule will eventually be towed back to the ship, and we wish them Godspeed. It's been 9 days so far. It's that 10th day and that reentry that we're keeping our eyes on.
Everything seems to have gone flawlessly so far.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it because the trip's not complete until they are back home. Well, now to a strange story of a man accused of driving a car into a canal, and his ex-girlfriend was inside. She actually needed help getting rescued from that wreck.
Yeah, he then asked a judge to lower the amount of money required to get out of jail. Now, the judge said no. News 6's Amy Russo shows us why.
Visibly upset, that was John Lucas's reaction to word he must put up $157,500 bond to get out of jail. Lucas did not hesitate to ask for it to be lowered.
I'll have the ankle monitor and stuff too. Could you put that on there?
Sir, you fled from law enforcement, crashed into law enforcement vehicles, and then ended up in the barge canal. with your victim in the car. I'm not going to be reducing your charges or costs at this time.
In all, he's facing 8 charges, including attempted second-degree murder. Let's go back to where it all began. According to Brevard County deputies, on Monday, Lucas met up with his ex-girlfriend in a parking lot off North Courtney Boulevard in Merritt Island, asking to rekindle the relationship. When she said no, he forced his way into her car and began strangling her. That's when deputies showed up.
And as they got out and started walking up to approach the vehicle went into reverse, backed out of the parking lot, pushing one of our patrol vehicles out of the way, hitting it in the front right side of the vehicle.
No deputies were hurt, just their cruiser. They say Lucas, now behind the wheel of his ex's car, fled the scene with her still inside. About 3 or 4 miles away, he spotted the barge canal.
He decided to drive off the bridge, we're guessing in an attempt to end both of their lives. So he drove off the bridge into the water.
The victim was hurt bad enough that she was unable to get out of the car on her own, but was pulled to safety within minutes. As for Lucas,
He was able to get out of the vehicle and then took off into the wooded area there, where we conducted a search for a couple of hours.
they say Lucas evaded law enforcement for about a day until he was found on Merritt Island. Now he's behind bars with his next court appearance set for April 30th. As for the victim, we're told she was taken to the hospital and her injuries do not appear to be life-threatening. In the newsroom, Amy Rousseau, News 6.
Just such a bizarre story. Well, the NFL is finding itself in the Department of Justice's crosshairs right now over how much it costs you to actually just be a fan. The DOJ is investigating the federal government for practices that allegedly harm consumers for licensing games to multiple platforms, including paid streaming platforms, paid cable networks, and among other things. The NFL says its distribution model is the most fan-friendly in the entire sport and entertainment industry. The most is what they're saying. And 87% of games are available on your TV for free. Our Dollars and Cents correspondent looked into the sports streaming cost and why it has gotten so expensive to be a fan. That was earlier this week. You can read more about it in this story. It's on the homepage on clickorlando.com. But basically the story was you need a subscription for everything and every game, every sport, racing, football, basketball, soccer.
And it's all adding up.
Oh, it's added up
Yes.
big time. Big
All right.
time.
Well, now to some crazy video out of South Florida of a police chase after a bank robbery. So take a look at this. A man accused of robbing a bank was running from the law in Broward County. The suspect was seen driving on the sidewalk to get past road workers, barreling through cones and barriers and speeding through intersections. His car only stopped when a police performed a pit maneuver, sending his car through a cement wall right outside a home. This is where that happens. Take a look. You can see it crashing there. That's when the man finally surrendered and was taken to the hospital to get checked out.
Okay. You know, those pit maneuvers, they can go terribly wrong, especially if there are other cars. They have to be so careful when they conduct that. But that one was performed perfectly.
Yeah, and weaving, though, through traffic like that and onto the sidewalk.
So many things could have gone wrong. Okay, so there's nothing, as a pet owner, I can say this. There's nothing many pet owners won't do for their furry friend, including saving their life. That's the least we can do, right? They save ours every day. The Hollandale Beach Police Department put out this video of officers who helped rescue a woman and her dog from a canal. She says her dog fell in, so she did what any owner would do. She jumped in to save him, but he was just too big to get out on her own.
I was just afraid because he's very heavy. He's my size, and there's no way I could have like pulled him out of the water myself.
Ma'am, no one's judging you for that. Officers showed up with a ladder to rescue the pair. Both were wet, but we're told that they are going to be okay. I mean,
lucky there were no gators. I would be looking for gators before I hopped in. I'm just going to do a quick visual scan. Make sure the coast is clear.
Make sure it's clear.
All right, some monkey business ends with a couple of guys out of some cash. Apparently, a bunch of bananas went missing from a Wawa. This happened amazingly not in Florida. This was outside Philadelphia. Now we're talking about 96 bananas to be exact.
What?
Workers went back and looked at security video and saw two men take the fruit and split See what we did there?
Oh, my gosh.
Officers tracked the two down who said it was a, quote, drunken mistake. The store said they would not press charges if they paid for the bananas, which they apparently did.
I don't understand
That story's
anything about
bananas.
that story. It really is. I didn't know Wawa had so many bananas in
I know.
stock. That's like a
Yeah.
grocery store size haul right there. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a huge heist of something else, not bananas, but Kit Kats, and it happened across the pond. 12 tons, 24,000 pounds of chocolate gone, just like right before Easter, too suspiciously. Well, the company says they're no longer taking sweet security for granted. So Kit Kat Canada posted video of security teams giving a Kit Kat truck a security escort. The company said when the chocolate is this good, you've got to call back up.
I feel like this whole thing was just set up by their media team because they have had so much publicity over this stolen Kit Kat saga.
So jaded you are.
I don't know. And now this whole thing,
You think they just made it up to get?
It sounds.
Because where is all that chocolate?
Exactly. Who wants all that chocolate? I mean, I do love a good Kit
enjoy a
Kat
Kit
bar,
Kat,
but not,
but that's a lot. Okay.
Tons of Kit Kats. All right. We're going to get another check of your weather after the break. Meteorologist Julie Broughton, who also loves Kit Kats, is tracking more rain for us tonight.
Plus, we're going to have a stern warning a sheriff has about some rambunctious teen damaging a park when we come back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
Well, hold on to your cruising caps because it is gusty out there today as we take a live look at our Port Canaveral cam. That really is the big story right now, is just how gusty it is out there. We are seeing a few showers left on the radar, but that wind is something.
Yeah, and it's going to take a minute for the winds to calm down. I think tomorrow even we'll still be talking about elevated winds, but let's go ahead and take a look at what we're talking about with the sustained winds and the wind gusts. So we were just looking there, Port Canaveral, 28 mile per hour gusts is what we were seeing there. Titusville, you're seeing 36 mile per hour gusts. And as we head farther to the west, inland toward areas like Claremont and Leesburg, you are seeing 41 mile per hour gusts. Those strong winds coming in out of the northeast, helping to bring some showers in. Now, so far this week, some of us have seen as much as 6 inches of rain. We're continuing to see some pockets of heavy rain moving on shore, moving through Palm Bay, tracking over toward Kenansville, taking you up towards St. Cloud. You're seeing some of that Harmony, some light rain right now, as well as in Narcoossee. All this continuing to work its way inland, and where you see the light green, that's mainly where we're talking about some light rain. I was outside a little bit earlier here at the station. It was just kind of an annoying drizzle, but we are going to continue to see these showers sticking around through much of the evening, even a few isolated showers overnight before things really improve for us. Now, rainfall totals this week, not counting what we've seen today, more than 6 inches in New Smyrna Beach. Palm Bay has seen almost 6 inches, Rockledge more than 5 inches. So this is a lot of rain at once. We have seen some flooding issues because once the ground is saturated, there's just no place for that rain to go as more rain comes down. Now, we did get our new drought monitor this morning at 8 o'clock. No major differences in this. I mean, the bottom line, we're all still under drought conditions, and we're looking at a dry next several days. So that means we'll see those numbers creeping back up. These are the numbers we get every day, and you'll notice those tell us how dry the soil is. In Brevard County, down 119 points.
Wow.
So that is good news. These are the numbers that counties typically base burn bans on. Once we get to 500, that's when we see those burn bans. But again, as we're heading into a dry stretch, we'll see those numbers beginning to creep back up. So here's how it looks for the next 7 days. We can't rule out a few isolated showers tomorrow, but I do think we're going to see some dry air building in pretty quickly. And that means by this weekend, we'll see plenty of sunshine in the low 80s. And by this time next week, back in the mid 80s, which I know you like because I know you're a warm weather fan.
Correct. That is a pretty looking forecast. I know we certainly have benefited from the rain, but we're ready, I think, to dry out a little bit and to see the sunshine once again.
It's been a little dreary out there. Of course, you can track the weather at your house and any changes in the forecast with our free News 6 weather app. Just search WKMG in your app store.
A Palm Coast park taken over by teens causing damage and acting dangerously. I'm News 6's Alex Cook. The Flagler County Sheriff's Office says that Holland Park out here was swarmed by middle school age teens last Friday in broad daylight. And the people that I spoke to out here at the park say that isn't uncommon. They see large groups of kids on e-bikes out here all the time.
The kids are filming each other fighting. We've had reckless behavior on e-bikes, kids playing Frogger in front of cars and chicken. Really just unsafe, unruly behavior that we don't want to see at our parks.
Deputies say this incident is part of a broader problem here.
They're always here like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, throughout the week.
In a Facebook post, the sheriff's office said around 30 kids were reportedly riding e-bikes, climbing a water fountain to try to reach the roof, and tearing up the grass. They even broke changing tables in the restrooms.
There's usually a lot of kids riding their e-bikes. Some of them have these little electric, like dirt bikes. And they're always on the sidewalk, popping wheelies on the parking lot.
The sheriff's office says some of these kids were playing real-life Frogger out here, darting in and out of traffic, putting themselves and drivers at risk. People who use this park told me seeing kids get too close to cars here is nothing new.
I see them come close to other cars. Yeah, they don't move out of the way. You know, they expect us to move out of their way or stop for them, but there are just so many of them. You have no choice to, but still, they're not respectful.
And it wasn't just the chaos that deputies say they're worried about. The park staff out here showed us these scuff marks on this memorial bridge, just one sign of the damage after these crowds of kids rolled through. Deputies say they're increasing patrols at the park.
We encourage good behavior in park visitors, but the minute that it becomes reckless or criminal, we're going to get involved and try to identify anybody involved and hold them accountable.
And their message to parents is simple. Know where your kids are, who they're with, and what they're doing before someone gets hurt or gets in trouble. In Palm Coast, Alex Cook, News 6.
All right, NASA's Artemis 2 mission continuing to make history, but we know this historic mission is pretty taxing on the 4 astronauts who are aboard the Orion capsule. And this is something you've been looking into.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we know even when we send them to the ISS for periods of time, that's taxing, and that's low Earth orbit. They are way out there, farther than anyone has traveled before. And, you know, they're conducting experiments while they are there, yet their bodies are also a part of the experiment as to what happens when you are gone from gravitational pull for that long. And they're the 4 heroes, I like to call them, but they tell you they're just regular people doing what they were designed to do. It's so interesting to see them up there, and it looks like they're just floating around, having a great time, but all the while they still have the exercise, right?
Yeah.
They took something, it wasn't quite a treadmill, but it's something that's like a band that is a resistance, because you can lose in just that period of time bone density. And
Which
people
is
don't
crazy,
I
because it's
know.
only 10 days.
People don't realize how much gravity plays a role on our bodies here on Earth, and what they are doing, and the fact that when you see them in all of these press conferences asking questions, their bodies are still going through it. Think of them just hurtling through space, but then being normal like this.
Right.
Right? It's like nothing is happening. And they are wearing experimental things so we can get all of that feedback. We're testing blood, saliva, all kinds of things. So they are part of the experiment just as much as what they're sent there to look at.
Right.
And we get a lot of information when they come back. The thing that has really been a joy to watch during this trip is just how amazed they are by how amazing what they are seeing really is. People forget that, and that was part of the story that I have for later on today. They forget that these are, we call them superheroes, but they're just humans doing super things. And to see their joy about what the moon looks like at that angle and the pictures they're able to take, and just the experience of bonding. They asked during a press conference yesterday, Christina Cook, she's the only woman on this trip, and the youngest one. She's 47 years old. Thank goodness they're sending people of a certain age up into space. But they asked her what she would miss most about it, and she says the camaraderie, because people think, oh, I can't wait to get out of this cramped capsule. And she's like, I'm going to miss being here with my friends. Yeah,
What
so it's
an incredible
really, it really
experience,
has been an incredible experience to watch, too, and I'm glad that they're able to share it all with us.
All right, coming up after the break, what staff at local hospitals were doing to prepare for a worst case scenario. Is a pretty big event. We're going to tell you about that coming up.
It's a critical test aimed at saving lives. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman. We are at the Orlando VA Medical Center where there's a mass casualty scenario happening today. Organizers say training like this is vital because figuring things out in a crisis is not an option.
Anything else hurt you?
One by one, medical workers assessed an influx of role-playing victims at Lake Nona VA.
It's literally getting ready for the unthinkable.
The Wekiva High School students helping medical workers go through a training scenario involving a cargo plane crashing with chemicals on board.
These events are situations that you don't expect, but when they happen, you have to be ready for them.
The exercise is designed to enhance preparedness and coordination among multiple agencies. It gives the hospital a chance to challenge their systems, improve workflow, and make sure everyone is ready when it matters the most.
And you want to make sure that you're prepared. You don't want the actual events to be here and that be your preparation.
The drill testing a range of critical capabilities, including communication and resource management, all with the goal of improvement to save lives.
Seconds do save lives, and that's why it's so important for us to practice.
From here, organizers tell us they'll evaluate the treatment of each of the victims in this drill to learn what can be improved. They'll then apply those lessons in an ever-evolving plan for emergency response. In Orange County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
It looks so real when you think about it, but you hope you never have to use that. All right, so we're getting ready for News 6 at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, coming up, News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is showing us new surveillance video showing the moments leading up to that shooting at FSU's campus involving a 20-year-old shooting suspect. He's going to have that for us at the top of the newscast right after the break.
We are following breaking news. For the very first time, we are seeing surveillance video and police video from last year's deadly shooting at FSU. I'm News 6 investigator Mike DeForest. I've been combing through that video evidence.
The defense team for the man accused of shooting a Volusia County deputy is trying to seal his confession from public record. I'm Molly Reed. Coming up, we'll have the decision made in court here today.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
First at 4, we are taking a live look now. This is the Turnpike near St. Cloud on this wet Thursday afternoon. And we're tracking the rain and wind for one final day this week.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton explains what's happening outside right now. Julie?
Lisa, we are still gray, windy, and rainy out there, but I think by the time we're back here together tomorrow, things will look a lot nicer moving into our weekend. Here's what it looks like for you right now. This is our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera over downtown Orlando. Still pretty gray out there, sitting right now at 75 degrees. Our winds are still strong, coming out of the east-northeast right now at 19 miles per hour. But look at our wind gusts. We have seen winds gusting into the 40s as far west as Leesburg and Claremont today. Right now in Cocoa Beach, you are seeing 30-mile-per-hour gusts and 28-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Daytona Beach. Here's a look at the radar sweeping out for us. Again, a lot of light rain out there, just kind of some annoying drizzle for most of us as we go in a little bit closer across our southern counties down into areas like Satellite Beach as well as Palm Bay. We can zoom in, and that is where we are seeing again some areas of yellow and orange. That shows us where we're talking about heavier rain. I do have the lightning data turned on. No lightning out there for us, but as we move over toward areas like Deer Park, down toward Kenansville, Kissimmee, seeing some pockets of heavy rain as well, moving over toward Haines City and Dundee. Again, we'll keep rain chances for the rest of today, even into tonight, right around 60%, but some drier air is on the way. We'll time that out for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Breaking now, News 6 has just obtained some disturbing video of the shooting at Florida State University. It happened in April of 2025.
2 people were killed and 6 others were injured. The accused shooter was shot in the face but survived. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is going through that evidence right now. And Mike, there is some shocking scenes on that video.
Lisa, yeah, it's very disturbing. In just a moment, we're going to show you 2 different clips of video. One was taken from surveillance cameras located throughout the FSU Student Union and on campus. The second video captured by the cameras worn on the deputies who responded to this shooting. Again, I do want to warn you, the video you're about to see, very disturbing. We do recommend viewer discretion. Let's take a look at this first clip. The first clip opens right as the shooting begins. These are students inside the Student Union. Out the window, you can see the gunman, who police later identified as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. In this clip here, you see him now, having already started shooting, running through the Student Union. It appears at first he tucks his gun into his cargo shorts, but then as he runs through the Student Union, he exits out another side door, and that's where he begins shooting. We cut the video there. It looked like somebody got shot. Here's an angle from a camera inside the bookstore where you see Eichner with a gun shooting at students. Again, this is another angle of that same shot. Unbelievably, despite him as many times as you see the gunman pointing his weapon at students, including this one where he's chasing yet another young woman through the food court here. From what we understand, he did not kill any of the students. Several were wounded. He did kill 2 adults associated with the school, a campus vendor and a campus dining director. This is where the surveillance video ends. In just a moment, we're going to show you video taken from another perspective from the law enforcement officers who were arriving at the scene. Let's take a look and a listen right now.
Stay on the ground now! Get on the ground! Shots fired. I got one suspect down, 426s with Officer Miller right here. He's shot. Go ahead and roll EMS right now. Gun's going to be secure. It's going to be a white male.
You see here, we're detaining Eichner. Several other officers were swarming the campus, tending to injured students and faculty members and staff members. Again, 2 people died in that shooting, a campus vendor and a campus dining director. Phoenix Eichner, 20 years old, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder. He has pleaded not guilty. This video evidence presumably will be shown if and when this case goes to trial. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you.
Mike, you said it at the top of this newscast. It is terrifying to see that video, and you can see the fear in the students' faces when they heard those gunshots and then were running for their lives. Thank you for that report. We know you're going to have a lot more for us throughout the evening here on News 6 and clickorlando.com. Meantime, the Florida Attorney General's office says it is launching an investigation into OpenAI and ChatGPT. Attorney General James Uthmeier posted the announcement on social media. He says his office is demanding answers on OpenAI's activities that have hurt kids, endangered Americans, and what may have attributed to the recent FSU shooting. Earlier this week, we told you how the family of one of the victims killed in last year's shooting is now suing the company behind ChatGPT. Attorneys say Phoenix Eichner had constant communication with ChatGPT before the shooting.
Breaking news now, just into our newsroom. A teen was walked out of his high school in handcuffs today after Orlando police say he took a loaded gun onto campus. Police say they found 17-year-old Joshua Brown in his classroom at Dr. Phillips High School. They say Brown tried to run away, but he was quickly caught. Officers say they later found a 9mm handgun in his backpack. Police say they acted on a tip from the community. We're working to learn more about that tip. Brown is facing a list of charges.
Investigators are sharing video of the man accused of showing a deputy an AI video that made it look like people were climbing into his patrol car. This happened at the Academy Sports on Lake Emma Road in Lake Mary last month. Seminole County deputies say 25-year-old Alexis Martinez Arizala was trying to prank the deputy. When the deputy checked his patrol car, he found nothing had been disturbed or stolen. Surveillance video also revealed that the incident never happened. Investigators learned the man posted about the video online in an attempt to gain attention and create a viral moment. Deputies found the man in Puerto Rico yesterday in San Juan and arrested him. Coming up on News 6 at 5, your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver will have the warning from law enforcement about AI-generated deepfake videos.
New at 4, Titusville police swarming an area near Space View Park today on a report of a man found dead floating in the Indian River. If you were in that area of the Indian River Avenue and Main Street this afternoon, you likely may have seen that large police enforcement presence to this. Titusville police tell us that they plan on putting out more information on exactly what happened. We'll let you know when they do, and when we get an update, we'll put it on clickorlando.com. The man accused of shooting a Volusia County deputy is back in court. His defense attorneys are trying to block the public release of recordings, including what is being described as a confession. News 6 filed a motion in this case asking the court to ensure that the part of the confession that would normally be available for the public remain that way so that you have a full picture of the case and exactly what happened. Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court for the decision.
We could not hear the defense team's argument on why they wanted the confession sealed today. That part of the discussion happened behind closed doors, but the attorneys in court did come to the agreement that parts of about 14 pages of the 53-page transcript will be sealed still from the public.
Do you want me to state it'll be an exhibit under seal, just to make it very clear? It should not be accessible to the public?
Yes, Judge.
Based on the sensitive nature.
The rest of Luis Diaz-Polanco's alleged confession can be released as public record now. The Volusia County Sheriff already summarized most of the confession for us, though, and so did investigators in their arrest report. They wrote after the March 2nd shooting, Polanco admitted that he intentionally aimed at the deputy's chest, thinking their ballistic vests would save them.
He sits there and tells us what a horrible day he had, and that if he had not run out of ammunition, he would have killed every one of those deputies.
Still, Polanco pleaded not guilty to the attempted murder charges. Investigators say that day, Deputy Jose Rivera and his trainee went to Polanco's home in Deltona to question him about a vandalism call. The sheriff says body camera video shows Polanco open the door, slam it, then return with a gun and open fire, hitting Rivera twice. Deputy Rivera is still recovering from being shot. Now, I have put a request in for the transcript that can be released to us, but I have not received it yet. Polanco is set to be back in court in May with his trial tentatively set for June. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Well, if you have ever been stuck in traffic on the 408, you know one of the main trouble spots each morning is between Goldenrod and I-4. Now, a new plan in the works to add an extra lane in each direction. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez explains.
Drivers know what it feels like to get stuck on the 408.
Horrible, horrible. It's just been getting worse every year it just get worse. More people live here, more traffic.
To improve people's daily commute on the 408, the Central Florida Expressway Authority is working on a plan to add an extra lane to two portions of the 408 heading toward downtown Orlando. This design map shows where, between Goldenrod Road and Cimarron Boulevard, and then from Bumby Avenue to I-4. It would take two sections of the 408 from 4 to 5 lanes to improve traffic and reduce crashes. The study done on the potential improvements for the 408 found that rear-end collisions make up 53% of all the crashes here, showing just how much congestion has increased as cars have to abruptly stop or slow down with limited space. How crucial would you think another lane would be here?
Very crucial because we're very close to downtown Orlando, and that's where a lot of people are working at because you got headquarters for Truist is down there, the stadium is down there, and a lot of the nightlife is down there. It might help make less traffic, probably help people get where they need to going quicker too. I mean, I think they need it.
CFX tells me design work should be done by early 2027, and they'll hold a public meeting on the project sometime this year. It's just one stretch of the 408 getting more lanes. Between OBT and I-4, right near Camping World Stadium, a fifth eastbound lane is set to be added by 2029, a $218 million addition. Last summer, tolls went up between 2 and 5 cents, a move CFX says helps them maintain, build, and operate its 125-mile system. Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
The Artemis 2 astronauts are expected to return tomorrow, and it will mark a new chapter for NASA.
They're often referred to as superhuman, and I kind of back folks out of that a little bit. They are humans doing super things.
What the 4 astronauts endured for their 10-day journey and the record they just broke on the way home.
Plus, what researchers are expecting from this year's hurricane season.
What is up, foodies? This week, we are trying the freshest pasta in Orlando at Del Moro's.
Sat down and I've done the math, and
Wow.
there is over 1 million different combinations.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
the possibility.
The possibilities are endless.
Fresh pasta in a food court might sound too good to be true, but Del Moro's was built to flip that idea on its head.
So much pasta. Oh. And I'm gonna finish all of it right now. To watch the full episode, go to clickorlando.com/insider and sign up to be an insider today. It's free, easy, and the only way to keep up with all my foodie adventures all around Central Florida.
And while you're there, nominate your favorite teacher for the News 6 Educator of the Week Award, sponsored by Osborne, Francis, and Pettis Law Firm at clickorlando.com/educator of the week.
The Artemis 2 crew is set to return to Earth tomorrow night after making its 10-day journey around the moon. Just an hour ago, NASA leaders said they are ready. The astronauts are scheduled to splash down off the coast of San Diego just after 8 p.m. tomorrow night Eastern Time. Preparations are already underway. The USS John S. Murtha left a San Diego naval base and headed out to sea with a couple hundred sailors and more than 100 NASA employees on board. They will recover the 4 astronauts inside their Orion space capsule from the Pacific Ocean. And with astronauts set to return to Earth tomorrow, it's important to think about how they are pushing through risk and pressure to help define the future of spaceflight.
Yeah, we are taking a closer look at what they've gone through so far with a reminder that these astronauts are also real people. From the moment we saw them suited up, they looked like superheroes ready to take on one of the biggest space challenges in more than 50 years. But Dr. Jennifer Fogarty says we should remember one key thing.
They're often referred to as superhuman, and I kind of back folks out of that a little bit. They are humans doing super things.
Dr. Fogarty is a UCF aerospace medicine expert and former NASA human research leader.
It has been made possible by tens of thousands of people around the world.
10 days, 250,000 miles, and a mission that pushed every physical and mental limit. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen didn't just fly around the moon. They became the first crew in history to include a black astronaut, a woman, and a non-American venturing this far from Earth.
It's just an extraordinary experience to understand humanity going up there and very successfully going into this pretty extreme and harsh environment.
But before any of that history could be made, they had to survive the toll this trip took on their bodies.
Booster ignition.
Launching from KSC under the pressure of 8.8 million pounds of thrust to escape Earth's atmosphere.
We are trying to expand our presence of humanity in the solar system, and going to space is very hard.
Inside Orion for 10 days, testing everything from life support to how the spacecraft handles deep space.
They're going to be testing out the environmental systems, the crew systems, the maneuverability of the vehicle.
The vehicle overshot by 7 degrees.
With limited resources, every decision matters.
To keep the human alive in a very complex system, you're going to have to make some hard choices.
And that means constant calculations. What do you bring? What do you leave? And how do you survive on just enough?
How you pack is a huge impact to how you will live on the journey.
And even before liftoff, the weight of what they were about to do was very real.
Honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors.
But they went anyway. And what's happened in those 10 days is remarkable. Flying 4,600 miles above the lunar surface, they broke the all-time human distance record from Earth, previously set by Apollo 13 in 1970.
Hello, Artemis 2. Don't forget to enjoy the view.
They became the first humans ever to see large regions of the moon's far side and revealed their human side at such a site.
It's just everything from the training, but in 3 dimension and absolutely unbelievable. This is incredible.
I still get chills every time I see what they're seeing. I can't wait to hear what they actually have to say when they come back, because one of them said today they haven't even been able to fully describe what they've seen.
And we get to see the really cool pictures, but to see it with your own human eyes.
I can't even imagine.
Right?
Yeah. So as the 4 astronauts begin that long journey home, ending with a splashdown in the Pacific, Dr. Fogarty says that that's not the end of something, but rather the beginning of the future of humanity in space. And
Really
they will
cool.
forever be etched in the annals of history.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Julie Broughton, who is tracking some more rainforest right now. Julie?
All right, we have some rain out there right now for a lot of us, but we have a nice change on the way in time for the weekend. Some drier air begins to move in by tomorrow, and then this weekend, temperature-wise, we'll be back near normal, and next week we'll actually be back into the mid-80s, and we'll see a dry stretch, which should be a nice change for us as far as it's been a little gray this week, but of course, we have needed that rain. However, here's a look at the setup as things change for us, taking you into tomorrow. This is the modeling with the mid-level moisture. So here we are right now, and it's pretty easy to see with all that green that that's a lot of deep moisture helping to fuel those showers that we've been seeing. But by even tomorrow morning, we'll start to see that drier air moving in. That will clear our skies pretty quickly, and we can't completely rule out a few isolated showers tomorrow, but I'm dropping our chance of rain to about 10 to 20%. Actually, it looks like we're already seeing some of that drier air trying to move in. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam. Look at that. Actually, some holes in the clouds out there right now. We haven't seen that since early Monday. 73 degrees right now. Our winds, though, are going to remain elevated right now, coming in out of the northeast at 21 miles per hour. But we are seeing those higher gusts, 26-mile-per-hour gusts right now if you're in Claremont. Winds are gusting to 31 miles per hour in Sanford and 32 miles per hour right now in Titusville. It'll take a few days for these to really come down. Modeling showing tonight, still talking about those winds gusting at times up to around 30 miles per hour. Through the overnight hours, still talking about high winds, and tomorrow will be a breezy day for us again, with winds at times gusting to around 20 to even 25 miles per hour. Here's how we're shaping up right now. It is 75 degrees in Orlando. Remember, the normal high this time of year is 82 degrees. DeLand, you're also at 75. It is 71 in Mico, 77 if you're in Titusville, and 69 in Ocala. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Blizzard and Biscuit Miller. They recently celebrated their second birthdays. They're twins. 71 degrees at 7 o'clock with a few showers. Still a few showers for us at 8 o'clock, 68 degrees. Here's a look at the radar scanning out, showing a lot of light green on the radar. So some light rain through Seminole County, back toward Marion County. So that includes areas like Ocala and down toward Bellevue. Still, the heaviest rain is along the coastal areas in Brevard County. So that includes Satellite Beach down toward Palm Bay, where you're seeing those areas of yellow, red, and orange on the radar. That's where we could potentially be seeing around 1 inch to 2 inches of rain falling per hour. South Patrick Shore seeing some of that down toward Satellite Beach, back toward Aurora, and then again that lets up a little bit as we head over toward areas like Deer Park. Now, rainfall totals just over the past 12 hours, some of you in southern Brevard County have seen close to 1.5 inches of rain just today. Clouds and rain forecast for you, taking you through the overnight hours into tomorrow, looking quite a bit drier. So by 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, I think most of us will be dry. We can't rule out a few isolated showers, especially along the coast for your drive to work and school tomorrow. And again, the modeling picking up on a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of light rain at times, but we're really dropping those rain chances compared to what we've seen over the last several days. Here's how it looks for your 7-day forecast. We go to 79 for your high tomorrow and then into the low 80s this weekend. And notice we are looking at a dry stretch, which will not be great for our drought numbers. But again, if you've been dealing with flooding issues, it'll give you an opportunity to dry out. Morning lows in the 60s.
All right. Happy birthday to Blizzard and Biscuit.
It looked good.
Yes, they're awfully cute. Gas prices are up, and now a popular discount food market for low-income families says it has to raise prices as well.
Yeah, which items are getting hit first and why your grocery budget may take a hit.
Now, gas prices are rising high, and places like Fresh Stop Food Market are also having to raise some of the prices just because of it. Executive Director Glenn Providence says that the suppliers are raising prices to deliver food, which unfortunately means that they'll have to increase their prices as well, but only for certain items like cucumbers, which their prices have doubled. The main factor is distance. Many of those suppliers travel all the way from California and the Southwest, where gas prices are staggering around $5. Now, Tim Nickerson says that despite the increase, these prices are still cheaper than anywhere else.
A lot of the foods they selling today is pretty high. That's why I go to them places where they got low income, low pricing, stuff like that. Because, with my income, I'm on a fixed income. So I try to get what I can, healthy stuff.
Fresh Stop Food Market says that they've served up to 1,000 people in a single month. Now, they're hoping that the raise in price is only temporary. They're hoping that those gas prices go back down so they can bring their prices back down. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker.
All right, so here's something else we don't want to talk about. Hurricane season starts June 1st.
And the first predictions for this year's season are in. What researchers are expecting, that's coming up. Plus, we are meeting the new head coach that's set to usher in a new era for UCF women's basketball. Welcome back. We are following several top stories right now.
News 6 has obtained some disturbing video showing the shooting at Florida State University. It happened in April of 2025. 21-year-old Phoenix Eichner is accused of killing 2 people and hurting 6 others. Eichner was shot in the face but survived. The man accused of shooting a Volusia County deputy is back in court. Luis Diaz Polanco's defense attorneys are trying to block the public release of recordings, including what is being described as a confession. Now, parts of the transcript from Polanco's confession will be sealed. Polanco will be back in court for a pretrial hearing in May. The Central Florida Expressway Authority is working on adding an extra lane between 2 portions of the 408 from 4 to 5 lanes to alleviate traffic problems there. It will be around 2 segments, one in between Goldenrod Road and Cimarron Boulevard. The other would be between Bumby Avenue and 2I-4.
The first predictions for this year's Atlantic hurricane season are in. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos explains what researchers are expecting.
Before you know it, hurricane season certainly will be upon us. For those keeping count, we're officially 53 days away from the official start of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. So Colorado State University, the first of those official forecasts, just came out earlier this morning, forecasting a below average season. Now, with that being said, they're forecasting 13 named storms, 6 of those becoming hurricanes, and 2 officially Category 3 hurricanes or stronger. With that being said, it's just a few numbers off of the average of 14, 7, and 3, around that number there of what we dealt with in 2025. CSU also gives us an update on probabilities of a storm nearing the Sunshine State, giving it a 74% chance of a named storm within about 50 nautical miles and about a 43% chance of a hurricane nearing the Sunshine State. With that being said, below or above average season, we always say it every year, it is just a forecast. We always need to prepare for the worst, hope for the best, because at the end of the day, it only takes one. Back to you.
Candace, thank you. The ceasefire between the U.S., Iran, and Israel is hanging on for now, but Israeli strikes on targets in Lebanon and the slow flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz is threatening what Vice President J.D. Vance called a, quote, fragile truce. CBS correspondent Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
Social media video from a young girl in Lebanon shows the moment an Israeli airstrike hit this Beirut neighborhood. Israel says it's targeting Hezbollah-linked terrorists, but Iran says the strikes are jeopardizing the fragile ceasefire with the U.S. Israel said Thursday it will open direct negotiations with Lebanon, expected to begin next week. It comes as Vice President J.D. Vance is preparing to lead talks with Iran this weekend.
If they don't give us what we need, then I think it's going to be bad, but I'm optimistic that the Iranians are going to be smart, that they're going to negotiate in good faith.
President Trump on social media has warned that U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel will remain in the region until the real agreement with Iran is reached, emphasizing no nuclear weapons and that the Strait of Hormuz will be open and safe.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte speaking today following what he described as a frank conversation with President Trump on Wednesday, argued NATO allies are stepping up to help secure the strait.
Nearly without exception, allies are doing everything the United States is asking. They have heard and are responding to President Trump's requests.
Iran claims the Strait of Hormuz is open, but traffic remains limited.
It is inside our water. So we have to be very careful for the safety and security of tankers and vessels.
Oil prices went back up Thursday, impacting small business owners like Tony Stafford.
Our biggest competitor now is the gas pump, And, every dollar that a person has to spend additionally at the gas pump is $1 less than in the communities that they support, the restaurants.
Experts say it could still be weeks before gas prices start to significantly fall. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Meantime, eligible men in the U.S. will soon be automatically registered for the military draft. Right now, eligible male U.S. citizens ages 18 to 25 are required to register through the Selective Service System online. Congress recently approved a new automatic registration process under the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. The Regulatory Affairs Office is reviewing the proposed rule before it is officially finalized. If it goes into effect, the automatic registration will begin in December.
Well, UCF is officially introducing its new women's basketball coach.
And we were there to learn all about him. News 6's Ryan Welch shares what he had to say today. Ryan?
Well, ladies, Gabe Lazo is a Florida native. He's energetic, family-focused, and is charging on to a head coaching opportunity in the Power Four following several years as an assistant. Lazo received a warm welcome from Knight Nation inside Addition Financial Arena earlier this afternoon on campus. The Miami native was emotional talking about his family and said that would be a centerpiece of his program at UCF. Lazo most recently served as an assistant at the University of Tennessee and was all set to work in a similar capacity at LSU when UCF came calling to give him his first shot as a head coach at the collegiate level.
We're going to re-energize this program, right? We have the right people in place. The staff that we have together is really is the key, right? The young women that have stayed here, they're going to be a huge part of the culture that we're going to build. And I've been able to develop and coach professional players. There's multiple staff members that have done that. Our administration's unbelievable. It's personal to me. This is not a stepping stone place for me. It's a destinational spot for me.
He's authentic. He's a connector. He talked about recruiter. I think the word recruiter is overused too. I think connecting is the most important thing. He wins everywhere. So he has seen at every different level winning as a player. He's played Division I, he's played JUCO ball. So there's not a player that can explain to him that, or you haven't gone through what I've gone through. He's seen it all.
A diverse resume for sure. Lazo is known as a defensive specialist and told the audience today that his team will not hesitate to apply pressure to the opposition. He didn't talk about any specific number of wins, ladies, but promised that this team will be competitive in the Big 12 right away. Ginger and Lisa?
Can't wait to see what he accomplishes.
Absolutely.
Ryan, thank you. Well, we now know the Broadway lineup coming to the King Center in Brevard County.
That's right. Today, the American Theater Guild announced the 2026-2027 season. The shows will include Mrs. Doubtfire, A Christmas Carol, Water for Elephants, Legally Blonde, and Hadestown. Leaders shared how they come up with the list of shows coming to Brevard County with News 6 producer Brooke Savage.
It is the biggest game of Tetris in the entire world. So first, it starts with our season ticket holders. We ask them, we give them a list of available titles that'll be coming out on the road in the next year or two. And we say, hey, what would you like to see come to the King Center? And they rank those for us. And we take that list and we say, okay, here are our top 10 titles that everybody would love to see at the King Center. How can we make those titles fit?
And they got a lot of great titles. I had the chance to see Water for Elephants and Hadestown. Loved both of them. You can see the lineup of shows, their tour dates, and ticket information in this story at clickorlando.com/setting the stage.
Well, more than 500 5th and 6th graders packed Kennedy Space Center today.
Yeah, the projects that got them recognized, and my leaders say they are America's next astronauts. Plus,
I see them come close to other cars. Yeah, they don't move out of the way. You know, they expect us to move out of their way or stop for them, but there are just so many of them.
A warning for parents. Deputies say kids are darting through traffic at a public park. What they're doing before someone gets hurt. That's next.
We are still dealing with some rain, but some drier air already beginning to move in. We'll tell you what that means for your weekend forecast, and we'll take a look ahead to next week as well.
And as we head to break, did you know there's more to watch on News 6 Plus? Get caught up on Central Florida's news and weather at a time that works for you at 9 o'clock every night. Or go on patrol with Trooper Steve. Get clear on Florida politics from Politically Motivated and celebrate the best of Central Florida with Are We There Yet? With the News 6 Insiders. You can watch it all now. Just get the News 6 Plus app downloaded on your smart TV. And you can download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. Now to a warning for families. Investigators say several kids are terrorizing a public park, even playing a real-life game of Frogger in traffic.
Deputies say their bad behavior is putting people in danger, including themselves. News 6's Alex Cook is at Holland Park in Palm Coast.
The kids are filming each other fighting. We've had reckless behavior on e-bikes, kids playing Frogger in front of cars and chicken. Really just unsafe, unruly behavior that we don't want to see at our parks.
Deputies say this incident is part of a broader problem here.
They're always here like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, throughout the week.
In a Facebook post, the sheriff's office said around 30 kids were reportedly riding e-bikes, climbing a water fountain to try to reach the roof, and tearing up the grass. They even broke changing tables in the restrooms.
There's usually a lot of kids riding their e-bikes. Some of them have these little electric, like dirt bikes. And they're always on the sidewalk, popping wheelies on the parking lot.
The sheriff's office says some of these kids were playing real-life Frogger out here, darting in and out of traffic, putting themselves and drivers at risk.
People who use this park told me seeing kids get too close to cars here is nothing new.
I see them come close to other cars. Yeah, they don't move out of the way. You know, they expect us to move out of there where it'll stop for them, but there are just so many of them. You have no choice to, but still, they're not respectful.
And it wasn't just the chaos that deputies say they're worried about. The park staff out here showed us these scuff marks on this memorial bridge, just one sign of the damage after these crowds of kids rolled through. Deputies say they're increasing patrols at the park.
We encourage good behavior in park visitors, but the minute that it becomes reckless or criminal, we're going to get involved and try to identify anybody involved and hold them accountable.
And their message to parents is simple. Know where your kids are, who they're with, and what they're doing before someone gets hurt or gets in trouble. In Palm Coast, Alex Cook, News 6.
Let's give you a look at some live pictures now. This is incredible. This is the rough surf out in Brevard County. This is at the Port St. John boat ramp right on the Indian River, and you can see the waves just lapping up on the shore there. It has been rough all week, and we've been telling you all week about the dangerous conditions in our coastal communities in particular.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton has been tracking those dangerous conditions for us. The good news is we're almost over this stuff, Julie.
Right. The winds are going to stay elevated another day or so. And we saw in that video there, you mentioned that was the Indian River. We typically don't see waves on the river, but that was looking pretty rough out there. And we're talking about hazardous beach and boating conditions really through the entire weekend. Now, we are going to see some drier air beginning to move in tomorrow. Really, that's already starting to move into some of our counties, but we're still seeing some showers. I think they'll stay around through at least midnight, but by this weekend, we'll see temperatures back in the normal range and we'll really dry things out. Now, here's a look at our upper level pattern as we head into next week, talking about our temperatures. Now, this week, just about every day, with the exception of Monday, we've been well below normal in the 70s, but watch as we head into the weekend. Notice big ridge of high pressure in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and as that ridge builds, it allows warm air to surge to the north. So by this time next week, we'll be talking about our afternoon highs in the mid 80s. Typically this time of year, we top out right around 82. Here is a live look from Port Canaveral. This is our launch credit union camera where we're seeing some clouds thinning out there. 75 degrees right now. The winds, though, still a big story, gusting up to 30 miles per hour in Port Canaveral. Cocoa Beach, you're also seeing those 30-mile-per-hour gusts. Elevated winds as well in areas like Wildwood, where your winds are gusting to 27 miles per hour and 32-mile-per-hour gusts right now in Titusville. Temperature-wise, again, we are cooler than we typically see. You step outside, it kind of has that cool, damp feeling. Certainly doesn't feel like April in Central Florida. 73 right now if you're in DeLand. If you're in Sanford, you're at 75, and 74 in Leesburg. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast featuring these two best friends. I just know they're best friends, Bella and Zuko. Don't they look like they're just so sweet? 71 degrees at 7 o'clock, still some showers. A few isolated showers around, especially across our southern counties at 8 o'clock as well. Here's a look at our radar imagery. Now, most of us are dealing with just areas of light rain from Seminole County up through Ocala, back down into southern Lake County. But if you are in southern Brevard County or into southern Osceola County, that's where you're continuing to see just those heavy showers moving on shore. So that includes areas like Satellite Beach down toward Palm Bay. Satellite Beach, you're seeing around 1 to 2 inches of rain falling per hour in some of these heavier shores. That includes Indian Harbor Beach down toward O'Galley, Aurora getting in on some of this. Melbourne, some light rain right now. And then as you go on over toward areas like Deer Park, you're seeing some moderate rain as well. Back to the north through Osceola County. Again, anywhere we see the yellow, red, or orange, that's where we're talking about that moderate to heavy rain. No lightning out there right now. But again, we're going to continue to see more rain over some of these areas in Brevard County. You've already seen almost 6 inches of rain, and so more rain coming just really doesn't have anywhere to go. Clouds on rain forecast taking you into tomorrow morning. I think your morning drive will look a lot drier tomorrow. We can't rule out some isolated showers, but we are not going to be talking about the constant heavy downpours that we've seen the last several days. So tomorrow I'm keeping a 20% chance of rain in the forecast, then about a 10% chance or less as we take you through the rest of your 7-day forecast, warming into the mid-80s by Tuesday.
All right, Julie, thank you. Now to a big moment for kids along the Space Coast.
The astronauts this week who flew farther into space than any before are challenging the next generation of space travelers to dream even bigger. And some of those future explorers could be in this room. I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero. I'll take you to the special awards ceremony.
Coming up on Friday, heading home, the crew of Artemis 2 is making their way back to Earth.
We'll have the very latest on the historic mission, as well as the one key thing NASA is watching as the crew prepares for splashdown.
Plus, away with this rain, our team is timing out the return of the sun and a weekend warming trend.
We'll see you Friday for News 6 Morning, starting at 6.
The astronauts this week who flew farther into space than any before are challenging the next generation of space travelers to dream even bigger. And some of those future explorers could be in this room. I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero. More than 500 5th and 6th graders Thursday came to Kennedy Space Center to be awarded. What excites you about being here?
I like all the opportunities we get to be invested in space.
For the last year, students like Avery Cleveland and Delia McNally from Krista McAuliffe Elementary in Palm Bay have been working together on science projects with a theme their heroes would find inspiring, exploring the moon.
This is the future of America right behind me, and these kids have done an amazing job.
Space Coast Congressman Mike Karadopoulos and Brevard County School Board members like Katie Campbell gave out the honors. The awards are a partnership with Boeing, too.
We are very excited to support this program, especially because it's helping students to inspire them as to what their future can be.
We might have a future astronaut in the room with us.
I think without doubt we have an astronaut in the room. They're going to be the ones landing on Mars someday.
And there's one more special contest the students can win. Thursday night, Congressman Herodopoulos is talking to the Artemis 2 astronauts, and he's picking his favorite questions submitted by students to ask the crew. Here's a supportive message the students I talked to would like to send to Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen.
I love what you're doing. I hope you continue it in the future. Hope you get back safe.
In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Love seeing our future in that room. That's great. Well, News 6 at 5 is next.
Yeah, coming up, thousands of semi-trucks on Florida roads, but some may be putting you in danger. Coming up, how a major statewide crackdown is uncovering serious safety violations.
And breaking right now, new video showing the moments a suspected shooter opened fire on FSU's campus. This happened last year. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest is digging through the records right now, and he will have a live update on what he has discovered. That's next. And your forecast is just minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this one at Daytona Beach with that rough surf out there. You can download it for free anytime on News 6 Plus. Now at 5, a Volusia deputy was shot last month, and the man accused is fighting to keep part of his confession under seal. What that could mean as the case heads toward trial. Plus,
a warning from law enforcement about AI-generated prank videos. We'll show you the case from Seminole County that's circulating on social media and the very real consequences it's created.
And after a successful lunar flyby, coming home may be the most dangerous part of the Artemis 2 mission. What to expect when the crew returns to Earth tomorrow night. You're watching News 6 at 5. Now at 5, one more day of rain before a big warm-up.
Bands of heavy rain are continuing to push in off the Atlantic, but even as the rain tapers late tonight, dangerous beach conditions are sticking around a bit. Taking a live look at Daytona Beach, we're talking waves up to 12 feet and a high risk of rip currents headed into the weekend. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas is joining us now. So Jonathan, how long will we see those conditions sticking around?
Yeah, Lisa, you hit the nail on the head on that one. Temperatures on the cooler side, of course, but even with the sunshine coming back out over the next couple of days, that hidden danger is going to be there even as the Atlantic settles back down. So it's going to be at least through the weekend. Right now, we are tracking some of the heavier stuff moving back onto the Space Coast. I was showing you the future radar yesterday, and this is spot on again with this last push of moisture that is sliding through parts of the Space Coast. Palm Bay, we're going to be up in a little bit for this, a batch of heavier rain. The next one toward Indian River shores as well. Melbourne into Satellite Beach, we're kind of seeing that right now, especially on the north side of Melbourne. Indian Harbor Beach into Satellite Beach, that's where the heaviest stuff is. And again, just like the last few days, the theme has been closer to the coast. Everything relatively light in Lake County, pretty much non-existent in Sumter County. Just a few stray showers hanging around us in Bellevue. Apopka, we're looking dry right now. We do have a couple of downpours, though, trying to slide into the southern part of Apopka. Winter Park, just a few stray sprinkles now pushing away from us. The wind stays elevated for another night as well. Certainly not as bad as the last couple of days, but it's all relative. 30-mile-per-hour gusts just about in Cocoa Beach. Same deal for us into Claremont. We'll talk about when the wind's back off and when that warm-up that Lisa was alluding to comes our way at about 5:17, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Breaking now at 5, for the first time, we are seeing police video and surveillance video from last year's deadly shooting at Florida State University. Now, 2 people were killed. 2 people were killed and 7 others hurt in this shooting, which happened right in the middle of the FSU campus near the Student Union.
The accused gunman, Phoenix Eichner, was captured and is now awaiting trial. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now live in the newsroom. So, Mike, I know you've been looking through all of this surveillance video. What are you learning?
Lisa, I'm about to show you 2 separate videos. The first was recorded by surveillance cameras on the FSU campus in and around the Student Union. The second was captured by one of the responding deputies who helped take down the gunman. Now, I want to warn you, the video you're about to see is very disturbing. It starts with this shot inside the Student Union. You can see students having lunch. Up in the window, you can see the gunman starting to open fire outside. Authorities have identified that gunman as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. Here you see him entering the Student Union and appear to put the gun into his cargo shorts. He then runs across the Union and exits out another door where he begins shooting at people. We have cut the video here because it looks like he hit someone. This is a different angle from the bookstore where you can see students running and the man identified as Eichner chasing after him. There's another angle from that shot. He's pointing his gun, aiming at students. Here now he re-enters the Student Union and begins looking for people. As soon as he turns the corner, you'll see he sees a young woman. She begins running for her life, as you can see. According to investigators, Eichner killed a campus vendor, Tiru Chaba, as well as a campus dining director, Robert Morales. 7 others were injured. Now, we're going to show you a second piece of video. This was captured by the camera on the body-worn camera by one of the responding deputies. Take a listen.
Shots fired. I got one suspect down, 426s with Officer Miller right here. He's shot. Go ahead and roll EMS right now. Gun's going to be secure. It's going to be a white male.
As the man authorities later identified as Phoenix Eichner was being taken into custody, other deputies and emergency personnel can be seen swarming the FSU campus, treating the injured victims. Now, Eichner has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder. His trial is currently scheduled to begin in October. Jurors will almost certainly be shown that video you just saw. Reporting live in the newsroom, Mike DeForest, News 6. Lisa.
Just terrifying to see that video, Mike. Thank you. A high school student is in handcuffs tonight after police say he brought a loaded gun on campus. This happened in southwest Orlando. Police say 17-year-old Joshua Brown was taken into custody inside a classroom at Dr. Phillips High School after a community tip led officers to the campus. Investigators say Brown tried to run but was quickly stopped. Officers say they later recovered a 9mm handgun from his backpack. Brown now faces multiple charges.
A deputy in Seminole County was shown a video where people appeared to be breaking into his patrol car, but it turns out the video was an AI prank.
The man investigators believe is responsible is now facing multiple charges. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver is looking at this case and the challenges ahead.
Scrolling through platforms like TikTok, you can find dozens of AI prank videos. It's content that generates thousands of clicks, but law enforcement warns it can be criminal.
Oh, you're actually in here.
Take this example of a video posted publicly.
Sir, I saw these guys, they were going inside of your car, in and out.
A man claims while this Seminole County deputy was inside a store off Lake Mary Boulevard, 2 people went into his car in the parking lot.
So you probably just left it unlocked.
The deputy's reaction was real. The concern was real.
Towards my location.
But investigators say the video was fake. It's now the subject of a sheriff's office investigation, and the alleged prankster, Alexis Martinez Arizala, is facing charges including fabricating evidence, a felony.
It was almost like the old-fashioned candid camera type of thing, but it wasn't funny.
Roy Bevel is a captain at the West Palm Beach Police Department, where officers encountered the same suspect in November.
We had a couple incidents at a local Home Depot where he was approaching people in the aisles after he had captured them, video them, then ran it through AI, generated a fake video. He approached the man and said, "Hey, here's a video of your wife outside with another person."
It's easy for anyone to create illusions with a camera and some editing, but AI in the palm of everyone's hands takes it to another level.
From what I understand with these AI-generated videos, there's usually an end game, like an extortion type end game. With this, is just for sheer clicks and YouTube views.
The Seminole County Sheriff called the misuse of artificial intelligence a growing concern. The Orange County Sheriff's Office also shared a message online this week warning when you cross the line, this trend can get you in trouble.
If you see these types of activities, call us. At a minimum, we want to document who these people are, what they're doing, so we do have a record of them. Our biggest fear is that one of these things turns into what could be a crime.
Catherine Silver, News 6.
New at 5, we just got the arrest reports for 2 people accused of stealing mail in Volusia County, and investigators say they could also be linked to thefts in Orlando. Port Orange police say 40-year-old Yania Romero and 36-year-old Johan Mayo were caught after surveillance video showed them stealing a $50 check from a mailbox. Officers say they tracked their vehicle using license plate readers and found under Romero's seat a torn envelope containing 37 other stolen checks totaling more than $14,000. The affidavit also links the pair to previous mail theft cases in Orlando from 2024 and 2025. Romero and Mayo were arrested and have both since bonded out of jail.
Now at 5, we are just about 24 hours away now from the end of the Artemis 2 moon mission. Splashdown off the coast of San Diego. It is probably the riskiest part of this mission, getting the 4 astronauts back inside Earth's atmosphere and into the Pacific Ocean all in one piece.
And NASA just finished a news conference explaining how they plan to do just that. Our News 6 space expert Eric Von Anken was monitoring the update for us. Eric, this is a pretty hairy situation.
Right, Lisa? Launch is always dangerous. Landing is just as dangerous. Everything has to be automated and pre-programmed, but if just one thing doesn't happen on time and in the right way, it could put those 4 lives inside the Artemis capsule at risk. The careful choreography for the ride home begins here, just above the Earth's atmosphere, when the capsule with those 4 humans on board separates from the service module. Then it blasts into the Earth's atmosphere at 25,000 miles an hour, and for the next 13 minutes, mission managers and the astronauts will likely be holding their breaths.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, it's 13 minutes of things that have to go right, is the way I think about it.
The heat shield has to hold up to temperatures as hot as the sun. 11 different parachutes have to deploy, and the spacecraft has to slow down from 25,000 miles an hour to just 17.
We have high confidence in the heat shield and the parachutes and the recovery systems we put together. The engineering supports it. The Artemis 1 flight data supports it. All of our ground test supports it. Our analysis supports it. And tomorrow the crew is going to put their lives behind that confidence.
This pilot and several others will be in the air, ready to pluck the astronauts off a raft and whisk them back to the USS Mirtha, an amphibious dock ship that is also a floating hospital to evaluate the astronauts. Then divers will tow the empty capsule into the ship's dry dock. They've been training for this mission for years and have been launching weather balloons for days to make sure the seas are safe and calm enough to bring an ideal end to a nearly 500,000-mile journey around the far side of the moon. And the seas are supposed to be calm enough. Everyone is ready. This dance starts tomorrow night at 7:30 when each step has to go exactly right, ladies. There's a blackout at 7:53 p.m. That's always a little unnerving. So for about 6 minutes, we're not going to hear anything from them. Then if all goes well, the parachutes deploy, splashdown off the coast of San Diego should happen at 8:07 tomorrow. We're going to have special coverage with CBS tomorrow night here on News 6, clickrelated.com, and our YouTube channel, of course, News 6.
Is there anything that could delay this process? Like, are they looking at things and saying, oh, wait, no, we're not quite ready. Let's push it off a day?
I mean, the short answer to that, Lisa, is absolutely. Right. I mean, there could be something wrong. In fact, they were troubleshooting a little bit of an issue with an oxygen pressurization situation. They don't think that's going to change anything. But once they commit, this, Ginger, as they start heading through the atmosphere, I mean, it's on. They got to come home.
Yeah, their bodies have been through so much already, and then hearing that they could experience as much as 3.5 Gs on the way back, it's like one last thing for you guys before you splash down.
Right. Remember, Artemis 1 in 2022, they did this exact same thing with a capsule. There just weren't people on board. Very similar capsule. That went fine. This one should too.
Much more at stake. Eric, thank you.
That's true too. Yes.
Wayfair is making a big move in the Sunshine State, and it could change how you shop.
Where the online giant is opening its first Florida store coming up when you can walk through the doors.
You're watching News 6 at 5, a live look now at Port Canaveral. This is from our Launch Credit Union camera. We'll be right back. While the war in Iran continues, there are some here in Florida hoping the Trump administration will turn its focus to another country just off the U.S. coast.
We're talking about Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida, and it's already been suggested as the next possible target. All new at 5, News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez shows us the push for another regime change comes with a host of problems.
In less than 6 months, the Trump administration has removed the president of Venezuela and killed the supreme leader of Iran. These actions come as some, including the president, have indicated an intention to go after a third country, Cuba.
I think right now, more than ever, we are at a crossroads with a regime change in Cuba.
Lindsay Lazopoulos-Friedman is a South Florida attorney who has represented individuals against Cuba, as well as taking part in investigations into the Cuban government.
This is something that's been decades in the making, and there are many, many Americans who have spent a lot of time preparing for this.
While Cuban Americans have long called for a toppling of the Cuban government, American voters nationwide are split on what to do. A recent Harris X poll found 74% of voters oppose the regime in Cuba, but the same poll found a majority of voters, 57%, oppose military intervention, something the White House has indicated it's considering. For people like Friedman, the argument must be made to Americans of the need to deal with this problem island just off Florida's coast.
They have for a long time posed a national security threat, and they continue to do so. And if we permitted Russia or China to come in and fill the vacuum, it would be even more intense.
For now, as Cuba endures its worst energy and humanitarian crisis in decades, the question remains, could the island be next? And is the U.S. prepared for what could follow? Lauren Melendez, News 6.
A rainy stretch holding on tonight, but not much longer. Here's a live look at the roads now. This is I-95 near Melbourne, where a stubborn weather pattern keeps showers just moving in. But the good news is a major shift on the way just in time for the weekend.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas joins us now to tell us how soon things will be turning around. Jonathan.
Yeah, I love that word stubborn. It's literally just been sitting there and hanging out. It's taking its spring break, this stalled front over central Florida, keeping the unsettled weather around. There is where we just took the live look with the sky cam to get closer in. This has been the theme over the last few days for us along the Space Coast to be getting the most rain. Same for us in the Volusia parts of Flagler Coast as well. But there are those heavier downpours leaving Satellite Beach from Melbourne back across I-95. Kenansville, we are getting wet tonight. Holopah and Deer Park, we have some light showers beginning to move in. Again, nothing too terribly heavy for us Four Corners. We have a quick hitting downpour pushing through. Very light sprinkle in Claremont, Mineola, Deltona. We're looking good tonight. Just a few stray sprinkles again crossing in from east to west. There's 6 to 7 o'clock this evening. Again, we're really going to wind things down over the next couple of hours. Talked about this yesterday, that this was going to be the last push of the big moisture anyway coming through. That's going to be 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe a stray lingering shower out there. Early tomorrow morning, still running the risk. Again, rain chances much lower tomorrow, but we're not completely out of the woods yet as we still keep that breeze out off of the Atlantic at about 15 to 20 miles an hour, giving us a few stray downpours. Certainly nothing like what we've seen over the past couple of days, though. There's 6 o'clock on Saturday morning, and then things are looking good. Much better than this. This is a live look in Daytona Beach. The ocean's still going to be a little angry out there tomorrow, but at least we're going to try to work a way to get more sunshine across the board. We're at 73 right now at the beach. The breeze out of the northeast at about 20 to 25 miles an hour will keep things gusty again through the rest of the tonight and then into part of the weekend as well. Wave heights are pretty significant, all things considered, breaking at 10 to 12 feet at times right along the coast. Further out into the Atlantic Ocean, wave heights about 10 to 14 feet. So again, it is choppy out there, and it's all because of this system. Stationary front still kind of lagging behind through the Bahamas, and as a result, we have that stiff northeasterly breeze just pushing in all of that moisture, helping to generate the downpours and keeping the breeze very elevated. Again, gusts at times over the past few days have been pushing 40, 45 miles an hour. Still gusty out there tonight. Mount Dora, good evening. We are at 71. Denellen, we are hanging around 70 degrees. Now, tomorrow morning, we're starting things back off into the low to mid 60s. Again, a stray shower for your morning commute, but most of us are going to start to dry things out as rain chances are much lower. 20% tomorrow, 80 degrees in Groveland. We're back to 81 in the Villages. Over the next 7 days, again, big improvements and a big warm up. We're at 80 on Saturday, 82 degrees on Sunday. Back to the lower 80s on Monday, mid 80s Tuesday and Wednesday. We're keeping things in the 80s. Look at all that sunshine, guys, closing out the upcoming work week.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Open your camera app, scan the QR code on your screen right now, and click the link. We want to see your weather pictures and videos, and they could end up on TV. You can also go to clickorlando.com/pins and upload your pictures and videos that way. The way you shop could be about to change in a big way.
Wayfair is moving off your screen into a huge new store right here in Florida coming up. Why they picked the location and what this means for how you buy your furniture. A live look now at downtown Orlando. This is from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. You're watching News 6 at 5. We'll be right back.
I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. A recall alert from, oh no, Wawa, one of my favorite places, and popular online retailer is expanding. So let's start with that with Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. This is having to do with Wayfair.
Yes, Lauren. So online retailer Wayfair announced plans to expand its brick and mortar footprint to Florida. So the company says it will build the state's first physical location in Fort Lauderdale. It's scheduled to open late next year and will feature 94,000 square feet across 2 levels. A coastal location and strong tourism market were cited as reasons the city was chosen. 2 Wayfair stores already operate in Georgia. There's 1 in Illinois. Other locations in Ohio, Colorado, and New York are also in the works. You know, Lauren, between IKEA and Wayfair, I could be gone for hours.
I'm the same way. I just left IKEA a couple days ago, and they're way too long. All right, speaking of the place I'm at way too long, Wawa. Okay, this is one of my favorite stores, but they are now recalling some of their drinks, so let's dig into this.
If this is one of your popular stores, listen up. Convenience store chain Wawa is recalling several beverages over a potential allergy risk. So federal safety officials say some 16-ounce Wawa drinks may contain unlisted dairy. The affected items include regular and diet Wawa iced tea, a diet lemonade, and fruit punch. The products have been pulled from shelves in affected states, but consumers may still have them. So customers are urged to throw the product away or return it for a refund. No illnesses have been reported so far, and batch numbers, locations, and other details can be found on the FDA's website, Lauren.
All right, okay, good. A little good news, at least, at the end of that. Maribel, thank you. Remember to get the latest money and consumer news anytime. You can always head to clickorlando.com.
A common medicine now causing confusion for expectant moms.
Fewer pregnant women are taking Tylenol after controversial claims linking it to autism. Coming up, what a new study found and what doctors are saying about skipping the medicine.
The defense team for the man accused of shooting a Volusia County deputy is trying to seal his confession from public record. I'm Molly Reed. Coming up, we'll have the decision made in court here today.
A live look now at Daytona Beach. Look at that surf. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories right now. News 6 has obtained this disturbing video of the shooting at Florida State University. It happened in April of 2025. 21-year-old Phoenix Eichner is accused of killing 2 people and hurting 6 others. Eichner was shot in the face but survived.
In Seminole County, a man accused of showing an AI deepfake video to a deputy is in custody. The sheriff's office says Alexis Martinez Arizala claimed the clip showed people getting into the deputy's patrol car outside Academy Sports in Lake Mary, but investigators say the video was fake. He now faces multiple charges, including fabricating physical evidence.
And after traveling more than 400,000 miles, the Artemis 2 crew is set to return to Earth after a 10-day journey around the moon. Just an hour ago, NASA officials said they have full confidence in the return and recovery systems for the crew to come back home. The astronauts are scheduled to splash down off the coast of San Diego just after 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Turning now to your forecast, the rain isn't quite done yet, but the clock is ticking down on a big change.
Yeah, we've certainly seen some more heavy showers today, along with some strong onshore winds, with some areas picking up a few more inches of rain today. As we take a live look at the beach in Cape Canaveral, coastal conditions remain rough, with large waves and a high risk of rip currents, really just making the beaches pretty dangerous, although you can see some people, some windsurfers out there in the water right now. We are expecting some warmer, calmer weather on the way. Meteorologist Jonathan Kakis standing by, tracking that for us, Jonathan.
Yeah, big warm up, guys, and it's going to calm down and dry out, I think, for an extended period of time. Once we get beyond tomorrow, there's still a few stray showers left for tomorrow, but certainly nothing like what we've seen. Again, right now we have the heaviest rain kind of tracking just south of us, of Satellite Beach, just on the north side of Palm Bay tonight. A few stray showers, again, pushing now toward Apopka, Zellwood, Tangerine. Good evening. We're going to be watching those few showers and a couple of very light sprinkles over the Ocala National Forest. Again, continue to keep things breezy, gusts at times, at least better than where they've been. It is certainly still gusty along the coast, 30-mile-per-hour wind just about in Daytona Beach, just recorded. Same for us in Claremont, even Leesburg, a 29-mile-per-hour gust at last check. 74 right now in DeLand. We're back to the low 70s in Orlando. We're at 73 degrees in Bushnell. And again, we are going to watch the sunshine get back out. The one crazy thing about all the rain, nothing changed really with the drought monitor. Again, we didn't expect much, if any, change, except for the potential for some subtle improvement along the coast. We're going to talk much more about the rain chances going away for a significant period of time coming up at about 5:47, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A man accused of shooting a Volusia County deputy last month was in court this morning.
Yeah, the defense attorneys for Luis Diaz Polanco are trying to block the public release of recordings, including what's being described as a confession. News 6 filed a motion in this case asking the court to ensure that the part of the confession that would normally be available for the public remain that way, so you have a full picture of the case and what actually happened. Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court for the decision.
We could not hear the defense team's argument on why they wanted the confession sealed today. That part of the discussion happened behind closed doors, but the attorneys in court did come to the agreement that parts of about 14 pages of the 53-page transcript will be sealed still from the public.
Do you want me to state it'll be an exhibit under seal, just to make it very clear? It should not be accessible to the public?
Yes, Judge.
Based on the sensitive nature.
The rest of Luis Diaz Polanco's alleged confession can be released as public record now. The Volusia County Sheriff already summarized most of the confession for us, though, and so did investigators in their arrest report. They wrote after the March 2nd shooting, Polanco admitted that he intentionally aimed at the deputy's chest, thinking their ballistic vests would save them.
He sits there and tells us what a horrible day he had, and that if he had not run out of ammunition, he would have killed every one of those deputies.
Still, Polanco pleaded not guilty to the attempted murder charges. Investigators say that day, Deputy Jose Rivera and his trainee went to Polanco's home in Deltona to question him about a vandalism call. The sheriff says body camera video shows Polanco open the door, slam it, then return with a gun and open fire, hitting Rivera twice. Deputy Rivera is still recovering from being shot. Now, I have put a request in for the transcript that can be released to us, but I have not received it yet. Polanco is set to be back in court in May with his trial tentatively set for June. I'm your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
New at 5, a heartbreaking animal rescue in Volusia County. Dozens of cats were found neglected and some did not survive. Animal control officers were called to a property near DeLand where they found 19 cats spread across multiple rooms. 3 were already dead and 4 others were rushed to an emergency vet in critical condition. Rescue crews say 2 of those cats later died, while others are still fighting to recover. The remaining cats are now being treated at the county's animal shelter. after going without proper care. Investigators are working to find out what happened and whether anyone will face charges. A twist and a mystery at sea. The husband of a missing Michigan woman is now under arrest after claiming she fell overboard during a boat trip in the Bahamas. Police in Marsh Harbor took 59-year-old Brian Hooker into custody, calling him a suspect in his wife Lynette's disappearance. He told investigators she fell from their small dinghy during a nighttime ride. Allegedly, she fell with the keys, causing the boat to shut off. Hooker says he paddled back to shore for help, but their daughter believes something more sinister could have happened at sea.
Their relationship has been a lot of fighting and drinking lately, so I'm just kind of questioning what actually went on in the dinghy.
Police say Hooker is cooperating with the investigation.
Developing now, a warning about what pregnant women are not taking. A new study shows a drop in acetaminophen use in emergency rooms. That's the generic form of Tylenol. Researchers say that decline follows claim from President Donald Trump linking it to autism. As reporter Maribel Gonzalez tells us, avoiding it could actually put moms and babies at risk.
Tylenol during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism.
Late last year, President Donald Trump linked autism to acetaminophen use during pregnancy.
I would say on the Tylenol, don't take it.
This despite decades of evidence from major medical associations, including the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, saying acetaminophen is the only safe over-the-counter option for treating pain or fever for pregnant people.
Things like ibuprofen or Aleve, that is not recommended in pregnancy because of bleeding risks and other possible complications.
In the months after the White House announcement, acetaminophen orders for pregnant patients in U.S. emergency rooms were down 10%, according to a March 2026 study published in The Lancet.
If I want to help a patient who is pregnant and they have fever or pain, I'll tell you, I'm reaching for acetaminophen first because it's the safest of the options.
The study was led by Dr. Jeremy Faust, an emergency physician at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
People who are experiencing pain or a fever deserve safe treatment.
The doctor says not reducing a pregnant person's fever could lead to other issues.
The message that was proffered was, well, don't take it just to be safe, on the safe side. And actually, that doesn't really work here. And the reason is that untreated fever itself could be a problem for the fetus.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
Good news for Florida citrus growers. Yields are climbing despite a tough season. The state just updated its forecast for the current season, and it is showing modest increases across the board. Oranges are up 2%, grapefruit up 4%, lemons are surging 29%, and tangerines and tangelos are up 13%.
The freeze is going to decrease the harvest. We had really been optimistic about where we're heading this season, and certainly without a hurricane, we're breathing a sigh of relief there, and then turn around and had a freeze like, well, again, we haven't seen in many years.
Last year's levels were the lowest in more than a century. For 25 years, Florida citrus has struggled with disease, hurricanes, freezes, and development.
Leaders are getting ready to reopen a bridge ahead of the Lake County Fair this weekend and Bike Week in Leesburg later this month. Both lanes on Haynes Creek Bridge have been closed because crews needed to install temporary steel plates over a damaged area. The steel plates will allow traffic to safely resume in both directions until permanent repairs are made in the near future. The Lake County Bridge will reopen in both directions. Well, we always appreciate hearing from our loyal viewers, especially when it comes to questions we can answer.
One of those questions pertains to parking on sidewalks, or at least blocking them, and whether that's legal. Today on Trooper Steve on Patrol, Steve is answering that question and giving us his thoughts on the matter.
It's eliminating the access for a pedestrian, for someone in a wheelchair, when they're trying to get up on a sidewalk. If your vehicle is blocking that, that would be for like you and me right now, just walking down a sidewalk there. That is improperly parked, and you technically can get a ticket for that. What's the bottom line? The sidewalk doesn't belong to us unless we're a pedestrian. So your car should never be placed anywhere on top of it. It could be close to it, it could be next to it, but it could never be on top of it.
So if you want to watch Steve's full episode, you can go to this article on clickorlando.com. Just search Trooper Steve on patrol. And you can watch weekdays at 2:30 in the afternoon and 8:30 at night on the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
Gas prices are on the rise and local shoppers are feeling it.
Coming up, how one local store is raising some prices while still finding a way to help families stretch their dollars. First, though.
Were you in there because of the dog? Yeah.
A woman in the water risking it all to save her dog as officers race in for a dramatic rescue. Coming up, the intense moments caught on camera.
And did you know there's more to watch on News 6 Plus? Get caught up on Central Florida's news and weather patterns at a time that works for you at 9 o'clock every night. Or go on patrol with Trooper Steve, get clear on Florida politics from Politically Motivated, and celebrate the best of Central Florida with the Are We There Yet crew with the News 6 Insiders. You can watch it all right now. Just get the News 6 Plus app loaded on your smart TV.
Download our streaming app for free. Search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
A dramatic water rescue caught on camera. A new body cam video shows the moments a woman is pulled from a canal after jumping in to save her dog. Tonight, a brand new view from police as they arrived on scene, racing to reach the pair that was stuck in the Intracoastal Waterway. You can see first responders dropping down, using a ladder to get close and working quickly in a tricky and dangerous situation. Crews say they ended up using different types of floating devices and pulleys to first get the dog to safety and then his owner.
He fell behind me and I had to jump in the water because he was panicking and I was afraid that he's gonna swim away. I was just afraid because he's very heavy, he's my size, and there's no way I could have like pulled him out of the water myself.
Quite the rescue. Officers say neither the woman nor the dog was hurt.
That is great news. Well, gas prices are climbing yet again, and now the impact is hitting your grocery bill.
A nonprofit with markdown prices known for helping low-income families stretch their dollars is being forced to raise some prices, and they say fuel costs are to blame. Your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker tells us how this is affecting shoppers.
Now, gas prices are rising high, and places like Fresh Stop Food Market are also having to raise some of the prices just because of it. Executive Director Glenn Providence says that the suppliers are raising prices to deliver food, which unfortunately means that they'll have to increase their prices as well, but only for certain items like cucumbers, which their prices have doubled. The main factor is distance. Many of those suppliers travel all the way from California and the Southwest, where gas prices are staggering around $5. Now, Tim Nickerson says that despite the increase, these prices are still cheaper than anywhere else.
A lot of the foods they selling today is pretty high. That's why I go to them places where they got low income, low pricing, stuff like that. Because, with my income, I'm on a fixed income. So I try to get what I can, healthy stuff.
Fresh Stop Food Market says that they've served up to 1,000 people in a single month. Now, they're hoping that the raise in price is only temporary. They're hoping that those gas prices go back down so they can bring their prices back down. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker.
All right, turning our attention now to your weather with a live look at our Daytona Beach camp. Rough surf conditions out there, as you can see.
But is that blue sky that we see?
Don't tease us.
Yeah.
Don't threaten us with a good time. We're waiting for that. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is here now to explain what we're seeing.
Yeah, and we are going to see more of that blue sky as we get into tomorrow, and then certainly this weekend. Still, though, stuck in that same pattern of the last few days. It's focusing the rain mainly on the southern half of Central Florida. We've been watching you guys along the Space Coast over the past couple of hours, again, with that heavier rain pushing Satellite Beach, Palm Bay, Palm Coast are on the drier side. A few showers hanging around Daytona Beach, kind of mixed in with some of those clear skies that we saw going forward. Otherwise, though, we're going to have that trend to be on the drier side over the next couple of days. So clouds and rain forecast, they're 6 to 7 o'clock tonight. Notice the theme is going to have these showers dissipate for the most part. Still running the risk for a few downpours again tomorrow sneaking on shore. They will be much less numerous than where they've been over the past couple of days, though. There you go in the morning for your Friday morning commute. Again, just a stray downpour along the coast. A few of those try to push inland by lunchtime, but again, they will be few and far between. Rain chances tomorrow much, much lower than where they've been. There's 6 o'clock on your Saturday morning, still in and out of a few clouds, but as we go through the weekend, we will see more sunshine. Drought monitor, this is the big deal. It actually expanded through parts of this map here, that rust color for the exceptional drought, the worst you can get, expanded towards the Big Bend, and where we've had all the rain this week, no change at all, if you can believe that. Again, we've been talking at length that it's going to take much more than what we've received out there along the East Coast to bust this drought. Part of this is going to be likely related that this only goes up to Tuesday morning, so the rain from yesterday and today is not included in the drought monitor, so maybe some subtle change by next Thursday when the next one comes out. Still, though, we are going to dry things out, and I think this is going to be an extended dry period coming our way once we get beyond tomorrow. Big time rain, though, along the coast, especially along the Space Coast, parts of the Volusia Coast, anywhere from 5 to even up to 7 inches of rain over the past 5 days. We've talked about this at length since last week, that while we would be dodging some scattered downpours along the I-75 corridor, certainly not as much. Obviously, we'll take what we can get, but we need that sustained rain brought to us by the sea breeze and the wet season. That's about 6-ish weeks away, at least climatologically speaking, from entering the chat. Where we have had big improvements, though, you see on the daily drought numbers, 500 on the Keach-Byram Drought Index typically gets a burn ban for your county. We were way above that before this rain started in Brevard. Yesterday, we shaved off another 119 points down to 240. This is basically what you're looking at for soil moisture. So the lower the numbers on this map, the more moisture is in the soil and the harder things burn, so to speak. We still need some help across most of Central Florida, but also some big improvements in Flagler. Again, that's on the daily drought index. But over the next 3 months, still the rain that's needed to end the drought is across Central Florida in about that 20 to 25 inch range. So there is still work to be done. That would put us about 8 to 10 inches above normal for that period. And I think, again, over the next week or so, we are going to be on the drier side again beyond tomorrow. Still with all the rain, again, 4.5 inches just about below normal. There wasn't a ton of rain in Orlando as expected. Daytona Beach, we've at least seen more, but we are still more than 4 inches below normal. Melbourne, we are the big winners out of the rainfall over the last couple of days. Again, now we are the only spot that is above normal in that department, 1.36 inches above normal, still way below again in Leesburg, about 3.25 below normal. Cloudy in Orlando. That is a live look in downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. Air temperatures back in the low 70s, the breeze out of the east northeast at about 23 miles an hour with a couple of those very light showers hanging around. We're at 71 in Orlando, 73 in Holopaugh, 73 degrees in Titusville. Again, that same system you see right there, that's the stationary front down by the Bahamas. That's keeping that breeze right out of the north and east, chewing up the surf a little bit, and keeping those showers in play. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Tomorrow morning, we're starting things off in the low to mid 60s. Highs tomorrow pushing 80 degrees in Daytona Beach, 77 in Deltona. Rain chances at 20%. 80 degrees on Saturday. There's more sunshine coming away on Sunday, and then a whole lot of dry weather and sunshine as we go forward through the week ahead, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Well, first responders training for the unthinkable right here in Central Florida.
Coming up, how this high-stakes training could save lives when every second counts.
And coming up on News 6 at 6, forecasters have released their prediction for the upcoming hurricane season. We're breaking down what this season could look like.
Coming up on Friday, heading home, the crew of Artemis 2 is making their way back to Earth.
We'll have the very latest on the historic mission, as well as the one key thing NASA is watching as the crew prepares for splashdown.
Plus, away with this rain, our team is timing out the return of the sun and a weekend warming trend.
We'll see you Friday for News 6 Morning, starting at 6.
It's a critical test aimed at saving lives. I'm News 6's Mark Lehman. We are at the Orlando VA Medical Center where there's a mass casualty scenario happening today. Organizers say training like this is vital because figuring things out in a crisis is not an option.
Anything else hurt you?
One by one, medical workers assessed an influx of role-playing victims at Lake Nona VA.
It's literally getting ready for the unthinkable.
The Wekiva High School students helping medical workers go through a training scenario involving a cargo plane crashing with chemicals on board.
These events are situations that you don't expect, but when they happen, you have to be ready for them.
The exercise is designed to enhance preparedness and coordination among multiple agencies. It gives the hospital a chance to challenge their systems, improve workflow, and make sure everyone is ready when it matters the most.
And you want to make sure that you're prepared. You don't want the actual events to be here and that be your preparation.
The drill testing a range of critical capabilities, including communication and resource management, all with the goal of improvement to save lives.
Seconds do save lives, and that's why it's so important for us to practice.
From here, organizers tell us they'll evaluate the treatment of each of the victims in this drill to learn what can be improved. They'll then apply those lessons in an ever-evolving plan for emergency response. In Orange County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
And News 6 is next. Coming up, we are seeing new video for the first time of the deadly shooting at Florida State University.
Yeah, this comes almost exactly 1 year since the tragic scene played out. Coming up, News 6 investigators have been digging through new video as the state launches an investigation into a popular AI software.
And a social media prank gone wrong, how a fake video is now leading to one man facing several charges in Seminole County. As we take a live look at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando delivering Hope Cam, you're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
We are now less than 2 months out from the start of hurricane season. Now on News 6 at 6, what we could expect later this year. Plus,
a warning from law enforcement about AI-generated prank videos. We'll show you the case from Seminole County that's circulating on social media and the very real consequences it's created.
And in just over 24 hours, astronauts will splash back down to Earth after a historic trip around the moon. What the crew had to put their bodies through in order to go where nobody else has gone. News 6 at 6 starts now.
Shots fired. I got one suspect down. 426.
Tonight, News 6 has obtained videos from last year's deadly shooting at Florida State University.
News 6 investigator Mike DeForest will join us in just minutes to break down what is being revealed in these newly released videos.
But first, we're still seeing some rain around parts of Central Florida, so let's check in with meteorologist Jonathan Kegas with your forecast. Jonathan.
Yeah, some of those downpours, guys, still heavy along the Space Coast tonight. This is kind of the last big push. There will still be a few scattered downpours in the mix tomorrow, but we are going to be watching again for things to push on shore. There's Miko again. We're watching some of the heaviest stuff slide just to our south. Palm Bay, we just had our biggest push go back towards the west. Rockledge, we're trying to dry out. We have a couple of lighter showers just south of Titusville, mainly into Port St. John, coming out of us from Merritt Island tonight. Orlando, we're on the drier side, just a few stray sprinkles in the mix. And we're going to be watching these continue to push from the Atlantic back toward I-75, although, just like the last couple of days, they're going to be working on fizzling out as they push further to the west, leaving us with those lower rain chances. It's still gusty out there, wind gusts on the order of 25 to 35 miles an hour on the coast. Leesburg, we're hanging on with a 28-mile-per-hour gust. Just check 30-mile-per-hour gust at the Orlando International Airport. Temperatures a little bit warmer than yesterday, certainly much cooler than where we should be. Average high temperatures are in the low 70s. Well, that'll put us, though, in 73 in Groveland, back toward Leesburg, back to 74 degrees. We're hanging at 70 degrees in Palm Coast, Daytona Beach. We are back at 70 degrees today as well. Earlier today, the first big round of hurricane predictions came out. Colorado State issued that. For more on that, we'll send things to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos.
Before you know it, hurricane season certainly will be upon us. For those keeping count, we're officially 53 days away from the official start of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. So Colorado State University, the first of those official forecasts, just came out earlier this morning, forecasting a below average season. Now, with that being said, they're forecasting 13 named storms, 6 of those becoming hurricanes, and 2 officially Category 3 hurricanes or stronger. With that being said, it's just a few numbers off of the average of 14, 7, and 3, around that number there of what we dealt with in 2025. CSU also gives us an update on probabilities of a storm nearing the Sunshine State, giving it a 74% chance of a named storm within about 50 nautical miles and about a 43% chance of a hurricane nearing the Sunshine State. With that being said, below or above average season, we always say it every year, it is just a forecast. We always need to prepare for the worst, hope for the best, because at the end of the day, it only takes one. Back to you.
And we have the full report from forecasters at Colorado State on our website. Just go to clickorlando.com and this story will be right on the home page. You can also look up hurricane in this search bar. For the very first time, we are seeing police video and surveillance video from last year's deadly shooting at Florida State University.
2 people were killed and 7 hurt in the shooting nearly a year ago. The accused gunman, Phoenix Eigner, was shot and taken into custody. He is now awaiting trial.
News 6 investigator Mike DeForest joins us now in studio. Mike, I know you've been looking through these videos today. What are you learning?
I'm actually going to show you 2 separate videos. The first was recorded by surveillance cameras on the FSU campus. The other was captured by one of the deputies who helped take down the gunman. Now, I want to warn you, the video you're about to see is very disturbing. This
Stay on the ground now! Get on the ground! Shots fired. I got one.
We're We're going to start first by showing you this video that was captured inside the student union. You can see the students starting to flee. Just outside the window is the gunman. Police have identified him as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. In this clip, you see the man identified as Eichner starting to run through the student union, tucking the gun into the pockets of his shorts. He then runs through the building and out the other side where he begins randomly shooting people. We have cut the video right here. In this angle, taken from the bookstore, you can see students fleeing outside, running for their lives as they're being chased by the gunman. The gunman then, as you can see in this video, returns back inside the student union where he's walking. Most folks are gone, but then as you'll see as he's about to round the corner here, there's a young woman right there inside one of the campus restaurants. She takes off running. You can see the gunman starts firing at her, appears to miss, and we think she gets away. At this point, then, Eichner is, the man identified as Eichner is outside. Law enforcement are moving in. Let's take a look at video from one of the deputies' vantage points.
Shots fired. I got one suspect down, 426s with Officer Miller right here. He's shot. Go ahead and roll EMS right now. Gun's going to be secure. It's going to be a white male.
Now, as the man authorities identified as Phoenix Eichner was being taken into custody, other deputies and emergency personnel can be seen swarming the FSU campus, treating the injured victims. Now, Eichner has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder. His trial is currently scheduled to begin in October. Jurors will almost certainly be shown that video you just saw. The jury may also hear evidence that Eichner was allegedly using artificial intelligence just before that deadly shooting. My colleague, News 6 investigator Pavlina Asta, joins us now with that part of our team coverage. This is some interesting stuff you're digging up.
Yeah, it really is, Mike. Along with that body cam video, the Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer announced today he's launching an investigation into OpenAI and ChatGPT. Uthmeyer claims AI assisted in the mass shooting. Take a look at this. We exclusively obtained Phoenix Eichner's entire conversation with ChatGPT leading up to the shooting. According to the conversation, Eichner was having an issues with a girl. He then started asking questions about past school shootings and how the country would react. Here's one exchange. Eichner asks, where were the school shooters go in Florida? ChatGPT responds, good question. In Florida, school shooters who are convicted would go to a maximum security prison. This is where it might be hard for viewers to hear. He wanted to know if 3 or more victims at FSU would get national media attention. He asks, what time is the busiest at FSU's student union? Chat says the Florida State University Student Union experiences its busiest periods during the weekday lunch times typically between 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. Finally, he asks, what button is the safety off for a Remington 12 gauge? ChatGPT tells Eichner for most Remington 12 gauge shotguns, the safety is a small cross bolt button located behind the trigger. Here's how it works. Safety off is a button. The button is pushed from right to left and a red ring or dot will appear, meaning the gun is ready to fire. The Attorney General says AI should advance mankind, not destroy it, and that he will be demanding answers.
So much discussion lately about AI, the powers, and some believe the guardrails that need to be put on this, and I'm sure this case is certainly going to be one in the spotlight. Pavlina, thank you for that information. We are going to be staying with this coverage. It's been going on for a year now, and again, Eichner scheduled to go to trial this fall. We'll be staying on top of it. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Mike and Pavlina. Now to stay up to date on the stories happening in your neighborhood, download our News 6 app to get alerts sent straight to your phone in real time.
A deputy in Seminole County was shown a video where people appeared to be breaking into his patrol car, but it turns out the video was an AI prank. The man investigators believe is responsible is now facing multiple charges. Your Seminole County community correspondent Catherine Silver is looking at this case and the challenges ahead.
Scrolling through platforms like TikTok, you can find dozens of AI prank videos. It's content that generates thousands of clicks, but law enforcement warns it can be criminal.
Oh, you're actually in here.
Take this example of a video posted publicly.
Sir, I saw these guys, they were going inside of your car, in and out.
A man claims while this Seminole County deputy was inside a store off Lake Mary Boulevard, two people went into his car in the parking lot.
So you probably just left it unlocked.
The deputy's reaction was real. The concern was real.
Towards my location.
But investigators say the video was fake. It's now the subject of a sheriff's office investigation, and the alleged prankster, Alexis Martinez Arizala, is facing charges including fabricating evidence, a felony.
It was almost like the old-fashioned candid camera type of thing, but it wasn't funny.
Roy Bevel is a captain at the West Palm Beach Police Department, where officers encountered the same suspect in November.
We had a couple incidents at a local Home Depot where he was approaching people in the aisles after he had captured them, videoed them, then ran it through AI, generated a fake video. He approached the man and said, "Hey, here's a video of your wife outside with another person."
It's easy for anyone to create illusions with a camera and some editing, but AI in the palm of everyone's hands takes it to another level.
From what I understand with these AI-generated videos, there's usually an end game, like an extortion type end game. With this, is just for sheer clicks and YouTube views.
The Seminole County Sheriff called the misuse of artificial intelligence a growing concern. The Orange County Sheriff's Office also shared a message online this week warning when you cross the line, this trend can get you in trouble.
If you see these types of activities, call us. At a minimum, we want to document who these people are, what they're doing, so we do have a record of them. Our biggest fear is that one of these things turns into what could be a crime.
Catherine Silver, News 6.
Well, if you are on the roads, it's likely you have seen a bunch of commercial trucks.
Coming up, what you need to know about a statewide operation aimed at keeping everyone safe on the roads.
And history has been made, and splashdown is just a day away now. But coming up, I'll show you what the Artemis 2 crew went through to go where nobody else has gone before.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
Thousands of commercial trucks travel Florida roads every day, but a major statewide operation is now revealing just how many of them may be putting drivers at risk. Officials inspecting more than 3,300 vehicles uncovered serious safety violations, making arrests and taking dozens of drivers off the road. Your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker tells us more.
Thousands of trucks, hundreds of violations, and dozens of drivers taken off the road, all a part of a major statewide crackdown between FDLE and multiple agencies aimed at keeping you safe.
Some of the most dangerous things we see are cracked brakes, broken air lines. If there's air release in a brake line, they have no brakes.
During the 4-day operation, inspectors looked at the trucks, the driver's CDL licenses, and other factors during more than 3,300 inspections and took 176 drivers out of service.
Some of the driver's license that we would find wouldn't even have a name on the CDL. Literally no name. 10% of an inspection that is done, that driver's going to be placed out of service, and we're seeing a little bit of uptick in that. And
officials say that 35 of those drivers were arrested on criminal charges and 42 were taken into custody for violating federal immigration laws.
I think it was, we did want to make sure as I got it, I think you said 42 referrals for
immigration violations. Has there been an uptick in those, and has ICE involvement impacted those as well?
The answer to that question is yes. I mean, there's a significant uptick with our administrative priorities and the state of Florida's partnerships.
Officials say that there are around 3 million inspections every year in Florida. This was a pilot operation, and they plan to do more in the future. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker.
Well, at the heart of Artemis 2, 4 people pushing through risk and pressure to help define the future of spaceflight. We are taking a closer look at what they've gone through so far, with a reminder that these astronauts are also real people. From the moment we saw them suited up, they looked like superheroes ready to take on one of the biggest space challenges in more than 50 years. But Dr. Jennifer Fogarty says we should remember one key thing.
They're often referred to as superhuman, and I kind of back folks out of that a little bit. They are humans doing super things.
Dr. Fogarty is a UCF aerospace medicine expert and former NASA human research leader.
It has been made possible by tens of thousands of people around the world.
10 days, 250,000 miles, and a mission that pushed every physical and mental limit. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen didn't just fly around the moon. They became the first crew in history to include a black astronaut, a woman, and a non-American venturing this far from Earth.
It's just an extraordinary experience to understand humanity going up there and very successfully going into this pretty extreme and harsh environment.
But before any of that history could be made, they had to survive the toll this trip took on their bodies.
Booster ignition.
Launching from KSC under the pressure of 8.8 million pounds of thrust to escape Earth's atmosphere.
We are trying to expand our presence of humanity in the solar system, and going to space is very hard.
Inside Orion for 10 days, testing everything from life support to how the spacecraft handles deep space.
They're going to be testing out the environmental systems, the crew systems, the maneuverability of the vehicle.
The vehicle overshot by 7 degrees.
With limited resources, every decision matters.
To keep the human alive in a very complex system, you're going to have to make some hard choices.
And that means constant calculations. What do you bring? What do you leave? And how do you survive on just enough?
How you pack is a huge impact to how you will live on the journey.
And even before liftoff, the weight of what they were about to do was very real.
Honoring the extraordinary efforts and feats of our predecessors.
But they went anyway. And what's happened in those 10 days is remarkable, flying 4,600 miles above the lunar surface. They broke the all-time human distance record from Earth, previously set by Apollo 13 in 1970.
Hello, Artemis 2. Don't forget to enjoy the view.
They became the first humans ever to see large regions of the moon's far side and reveal their human side at such a site.
It's just everything from the training, but in 3 dimension and absolutely unbelievable. This is incredible.
It is incredible, and as the 4 astronauts begin their long journey back home, ending with a splashdown in the Pacific tomorrow night, Dr. Fogarty says that's not the end of something, but rather the beginning of the future of humanity in space. Lisa, Jonathan, back to you.
It is such an exciting time right now, Ginger. So we are bringing in Jonathan Kagas because we are coming up on 24 hours until splashdown, with NASA expecting the crew to return at 8:07 tomorrow Eastern time, which will be 5:07 out west. So, of course, all eyes now on the forecast because we want really nice, calm conditions. We don't want it to look like the Atlantic Ocean right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
The good news is it's not going to look like Daytona Beach. It is going to be much, much quieter out there. They're going to be kind of in that general area. That's the target zone right there. And you see the wave heights hanging out about 4 to 5 feet. So relatively gentle for them to splash down. Just a few clouds out there. Air temperature is going to be in the 70s. Again, they're worried about any kind of lightning or showers, and there should be none of that. All the bigger waves where you start to see the 6 feet come back into play, those are going to be way back out towards the Central Pacific. Nonetheless, it should be nice, smooth sailing on the landing zone tomorrow for the Artemis 2 crew. So wishing them all the best. Palm Bay, we are watching a couple of downpours sliding back on shore. You can track these last few downpours of this weather setup by downloading the free News 6 weather app. A couple of extra showers pushing on to Volusia County back towards Deltona, just south of us in Lake Helen, Casadega. Those are going to move towards Orange City, move away from Orange City and the villages. We are dry right now. I think for the next 24 hours, we're just going to do a little bit of dodging along the coast for some downpours. And then we are completely done. Today was the last kind of big push of moisture that we're kind of getting rid of as we speak. 70 right now at Port Canaveral. You see the clouds in play. That's a live look with our Launch Credit Union camera. The breeze still off of the Atlantic at about 25 miles an hour. Those are sustained winds. Gusts at times still going to be pushing 30 to 35 along the coast. We're at 73 in Groveland, 73 for us in the villages. Also that mark for us in Cocoa Beach. Good evening in Palm Bay. We are at 68 degrees. Clouds and rain forecast. Some big improvements. We could use some extra rain. We all know that, but some sunshine coming back. There's 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that's what I'm talking about. Just a stray downpour in the mix. The rain chances go down significantly tomorrow, even for us along the coast. A few more downpours. There's 2 o'clock on your Friday, and then we're really starting to clear things back out, at least drying things out on Saturday. And then I think we see more sunshine in the mix as we move to the second half of your weekend. Tomorrow morning, we're starting things off in the 60s. We're at 63 in Oviedo. Titusville, we're hanging tight into the mid-60s as well. Now here's a look at your afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Temperatures tomorrow a little bit warmer, hanging around 80 in Celebration. Groveland, we're back to 80 as well. Deltona, we are at 77. Lake Catherine, good evening. We're back to 80 degrees. Rain chances tomorrow only again at about 20%. And then we start to warm things up a little bit as well. Still hanging around 80 degrees on Saturday. Still have some clouds around on Saturday to start your weekend. And then by Sunday, that's when we're going to really break free from this pattern and transition to a much drier period and a very warm period. And it's going to be because of this new storm system. You see it swirling off the California coastline. As that thing kind of pushes inland, it's going to surge. It's going to force some moisture, or some drier air, I should say. All the moisture is going to be out west. It's going to put some drier air back into central Florida. And you see what happens. By Saturday, again, 82 degrees on Sunday. We're back into the mid-80s on Tuesday, staying in the middle 80s on Wednesday. Look at all that sunshine through Thursday. If this 7-day forecast was 10 days or more, we'd be talking about the same deal. Big dry stretch coming away after the unsettled weather. We'll be right back.
Here's a look at your top stories tonight. News 6 has obtained this disturbing video of the shooting at Florida State University. It happened in April of 2025. 21-year-old Phoenix Eichner is accused of killing 2 people and hurting 6 others. Eichner was shot in the face but survived. You can read our full reporting right now by going to clickorlando.com.
In Seminole County, a man accused of showing an AI deepfake video to a deputy is in custody. The sheriff's office says Alexis Martinez Arizala claims the clip showed people getting into the deputy's car outside Academy Sports in Lake Mary, but investigators believe that video was fake. He now faces multiple charges, including fabricating physical evidence.
Well, we could be in for a below-average hurricane season in 2026. That's according to forecasters at Colorado State University. The university is expecting 13 named storms. 6 of those storms are expected to become hurricanes, with 2 projected as major storms, at least a Category 3 and 111 miles per hour winds. You can read more on clickorlando.com. And thank you so much for joining us. Bye.
Have a great night.